Hello and welcome to twitch.tv/OW University. My name is Pimp in the Crib, and joining me today on the analysis desk is Torment by Gnomes and Mukai Kubo. How are you doing, Torment by Gnomes?
I'm really happy to be here, Pimp. It's been a fantastic season 3. Every season we get bigger and better, and we're looking forward to continuing that improvement. But for now, we're really hyped to bring some fantastic fan finals for you. Mukai, how are you doing today, man?
I'm fighting through a head cold to be here to be an analyst for this, because I would not miss this for the world. So, Pimp, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for
Got
asking.
a little something there.
What do I got?
You got a hat.
Oh yeah, you know, last season, I gotta keep the tradition alive. But I mean, we'll see what the chat thinks about it. They're probably gonna blow up when they see that I got a hat on. But I mean,
We went over this last time. The fashion, apparently we tapped into an unknown vein of fashion critics, and you are the worst criminal in human history.
I gotta keep the tradition alive. But I think this time I am gonna put away this hat. Just for this stream. I gotta put away this hat.
Thank you. That reduces my blood pressure.
But I'm really into traditions. Just like Overwatch University. We got a tradition. We've been doing playoffs. We've been consistent to our community. For 3 seasons now. We got to keep traditions alive. But some traditions die. But unfortunately, my tradition ain't over.
God damn it!
I just had to change up my hat.
We're
It's
not
tradition,
friends
baby.
anymore.
Genji. I got a new hat, so new season, new hat. Gotta put a new one on. So,
Mukai,
right.
that implies that you were friends at some point with Pimp.
It does imply that, and I'm sorry to give people the wrong information.
Shame
As
on
an
you.
analyst, I try not to do that.
Well,
And shame on Pimp as well.
enough with the hat shenanigans. Let's get in it today. We got Division 4 and Division 1 Season 3 finals coming up today. We also got some giveaways that we're going to be giving away today. We got 2 $20 Blizzard codes that I won, granted, or given away from NRG. So thanks to NRG Esports and I guess San Francisco Shock for giving away those Blizzard codes to us. So we're giving those away during our intermissions in our 2 finals. So for our first match today, we are going to be having Aether going up against Team Not That Bad. Okay. Now, Torment and Gnomes, let us know how Team Not That Bad did in the playoffs, against their 2 teams.
So the matches we're bringing for you today are Division 4. And remember that in this season of the Overwatch University League, we broke things up in a different way than before. Whereas before, each division had around 8 to 10 teams. Now the divisions are much larger, but the teams are divided into groups. So the competition within each division can be fairly fierce. In order to get to the playoffs, each team had to be at the top 2 of their group. Most divisions had a total of 4 groups for an 8-team playoff. For Team Not That Bad, they fought their way through Division 4 Group C. There are 6 divisions in Overwatch University League Americas this season. So this places them just above my team in your plat, diamond sort of range. Team Not That Bad specifically has an average of 2784 for their SR, just to give you an idea of what we're going to see coming out. In order to get to the playoffs, they were the second in their group, not the first. Trigger Watch, which was also in their group, came out on top, and they lost to Trigger Watch. They went 1-3 against them. They also tied 1 map against Witchcraft in their division, and dropped a single map to Sometimes Y and Calculated, 2 other teams in their division, for total dropped maps of 5 within their division. That was enough to get them into the top 2, like I said, right underneath Trigger Watch. And from there, they went to the playoffs. In the quarterfinals, they actually had a rematch against Trigger Watch, the one team that really socked it to them, and they won 3-1, securing their place in the semifinals. There, they went up against the Apothecary, which was the top of Group B in Division 4. They had a very good series there, taking the series 3-0 in order to make their way up to here. So in the group stage, they dropped 5 maps, and in the playoffs so far, they've only dropped 1.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially, it's a little Cinderella story. They were able to beat the team that they lost to. And then I think Apothecary was also the overall number 1 seed, I think, in the division. Or no, never mind. They were not. They were like number 3. They lost their last game of the season. So, but I mean, it's a great story. Seeing that they beat the team that they lost to in their division play in the quarterfinals. But let's move this over to Aether. Mukai, what do you got here from Aether? How was their road in the playoffs?
So their road was a little bit smoother. They are representing Division 4 Group A of the 4 groups inside Division 4. Inside their group, they had 4 wins and 1 tie. They tied a team called Lithos. They tied that 2-2. Apart from that, every other match they played in their groups was a 4-0 victory, except for dropping one single map to S&G. That was a 2CP map. So 3 maps dropped during the entirety of the group phase. That was enough for them to win their group, but it was also enough dropped maps that they were the number 4 overall seed, or the lowest seeded group champion. In the quarterfinals, they beat a team called Who Watches the Overwatchers. That was the highest rated non-group champion seed. They beat them 3-1, so they dropped a map there. In the semifinals, they had a rematch against Lithos, the other team that was able to tie them in groups, and this time Aether won 3-0. So they've gotten here, they've dropped 3 maps during the group phase, they've dropped 1 match so far in the playoffs. They have only lost 4 maps this entire season. So now they're here in the finals. They're theoretically the higher seeded team. We'll see if they can manage to keep that winning experience alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. They tie Lithos in their group stage, and it's always great having that rematch, just like we saw Churgawatch have. So this time, they had their tiebreaker in their semifinals match. But let's bring it back to Team Not That Bad. Gnomes, I know you looked up some info about the team and a little bit more about their play style. So give us a little bit of a background of Team Not That Bad.
Absolutely. So Meat Moop is the team captain, and just looking a little bit over what we have about them so far, they've been playing together for about a year, and on their roster, Meat Moop prefers Soldier 76 and plays DPS. John Freeman is another DPS, preferring more projectile style play, your Pharahs, so on and so forth. Dom 9000 is their main tank, Splona on their off-tank flex, with Reinhardt and Roadhog specifically. Then you've got their supports, where Overwatch University Aaron, we're just going to call him Aaron henceforth, plays Zenyatta support, and Zru3 plays Mercy. So this is a really nice sort of 2-2-2 combo that they just fall into very, very evenly and very neatly. And so what I expect to see coming out of them is pretty consistent play overall. We're not going to see flower style rock stars across 14 different heroes, but each of these members of these teams has a set of tools which, when combined, will give them what they need to face basically any challenge that comes their way. There might be really particularly off-meta tactics that could catch them off guard, but for the most part, I think we're just going to see the solid core of Overwatch come through in their play style.
Yeah, and I noticed that Zru3 is one of their subs, so hopefully, they've gotten enough practice with him. They gave us a sub, a few days ago, so we know that they've been playing with him at least for quite a bit. Could just be a friend, so he hasn't played with them all season. He's not on the roster, so let's see. Maybe they can do something on that Mercy. Mercy is a pretty. I guess I don't want to offend anyone. A pretty simple hero to play, but I mean, there's been a bunch of changes. That's increased her skill level. However,
also tell that to Adam on Team USA.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Well, let's bring this over. I know Mukai, you grabbed a bunch of info about Aether. They were the number 4 seed coming in here. What can you tell us about that team and what they're going to be playing today?
So they're a little newer. While Team Not That Bad is a year old, Aether has only been playing together for about 6 months, so about half the time. They do practice a fair bit more often. They try to practice 4 or 5 times a week, almost every single weekday. And where that shows is that their average SR has jumped. When they signed up for the University League, they were at an average SR of about 2,700. Right now that they're about 3,100. So over the course of this season of the league, they've gone up 400 SR. That speaks to me of a lot of play together. That speaks to me of a lot of commitment to improvement, which is what we're all about. Going into the individual players, you've got Boat Ninja and Faux Falsetto as their DPSs. They're going to be trying to play mostly Soldier and Pharah as the DPS combo. That Pharah is going to be pairing with Praise Be His on Mercy, who is a Mercy main. Plays it very well, very aggressive Mercy. The other support's going to be Talos. Kendu Anna also jumps around to about a half dozen other heroes. Talos is going to be your flex player to watch out for. And also, Talos has jumped a lot of SR personally this season, while the entire team has gone up about 400 SR. Talos has gone up about 700 SR in the same time span. So, really risen. Keep your eye on them to see what they'll be able to flex to. Their tanks, GCR and Just Joe, they both prefer main tanks, but they've both got off tanks in their arsenal. They've got Zarya, they've got Diva, just depending on how the map goes. And Just Joe especially has had a great start to the season on Reinhardt, top 5% in eliminations of damage, so playing a really aggressive, attack-focused main tank. But the captain, Boat Ninja on Soldier 76, he plays a very accuracy-focused game on all of the hit scans because he plays Soldier, McCree, and Tracer, top 10% on eliminations and damage for all of them.
Yeah, and looking at both those teams, they kind of had a similar comp, so I'm really expecting us, to see a bunch of pharmacy, today. Coming from these teams, we'll see what the tank lineup's going to be. I'm not sure if we'll see, Winston and Reinhardt playing at the same time, but it's possible. Now, just real quick, I want to get some predictions. Do you guys have any predictions you're going to do? Let's ask UTBG. What are you predicting? Who do you think's going to win?
This is a pretty fair matchup, to be honest. I think that we can say the system works in this incident. And where we're really going to see it come down to, there are two primary angles that matter in this matchup. One is the Pharah v Pharah. Now, if it comes down to the Pharah v Pharah, the inclination, and since we don't have a buffed Ana yet, I feel like I want to say that's going to go to Ether because of Boat Ninja's DPS and hit scan accuracy. That's going to be really key. Zenyatta obviously is a great help towards countering that out, but if Boat Ninja can flex over to the proper DPS and put suppressive fire down on John Freeman's Pharah, then we're going to see an Aether victory. However, when it comes to pure Death Ball versus Death Ball, the fact that we've got that the additional DPS coming out, I feel like Team Not That Bad might do a little bit better in just an all-out shield war and brawl, with the possible exception of Juicy R playing Winston Havoc in the back line. So, on open maps, I'm going to say Aether. On close quarters maps, I'm going to say Team Not That Bad.
If you had to break it down to a score, what are you going to put it at?
I'm going to go with a 1-3.
In favor of Aether?
Whoever wins Lijiang Tower.
Okay, what about you? Just real quick, you've had a lot of time to think, Mukai.
I'm going to lead off and just say I'm predicting a 3-2 win for Aether, mostly because I like the slight SR advantage. I think Aether's a bit more able to flex onto different comps to take advantage of the weaknesses of a Death Ball. But most importantly, Aether has never lost a match. Winning is a habit, and it can be pretty hard to break.
All right, well, I'm going to have to go with 3-2 in favor of Team Not That Bad. I like what they've done in the playoffs. Being at that number 7 seed, they've, been the underdogs for the majority of playoffs, and they are technically would be an underdog here against Aether. So I'm going to have to go with Team Not That Bad. I like their little Cinderella story they got going. Before we hand it off to our casters, I just want to let everyone know that if you want to learn more about the Overwatch University League, you can go to our Discord at discord.gg/OWUniversity. Ask us any questions there. Go to the information channel. You can also go to our website, owuniversity.com. And, if you want to watch us more, you can follow us here and on Twitter at OWUniversity. And with that, we are going to be going to Lijiang Tower first. And let's hand it off to our casters. How are you doing, Labasco and Mushu?
Pimp, I'm doing great. I'm really excited. We've got this Division 4 championship between Aether and Team Not That Bad. And like you said, Lijiang Tower, the first win. And I'm glad to be reunited with Mushu. Mushu, it's been a bit, but glad to be on the broadcast with you again.
Yeah, it's been a while since the beginning of the season, but thanks again, of course, great casting with you as well. And thanks again for Pimp and Mukai and TBG for the great analysis we'll have going into this match.
A lot of really good analysis, and we were talking Lijiang Tower, the first map here, Mushu, and we have Pharah players on either side, and there are some maps where Pharah is pretty good here on Lijiang.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can really run a pharmacy in any of them, but of course, in Guardian is the big map. Control tower is a little bit more dicey, but you have to execute on that really, really well. So we'll have to see how that pharmacy will win out. But yeah, for you, are you looking for that pharmacy play to carry the teams to victory here?
Well, it's fun, and it'll be interesting to see because this is we're towards the end of this patch as well, right? So how much does pharmacy stay in the meta after this? This might be the last time we really see pharmacy comps to the extent that we have. I don't think it'll go away completely, but this is going to be the sort of the last hurrah here, at least for how strong Mercy has been. So it's all about the Mercy play here, I think, in this first one, especially with the fact that both teams really want to run that pharmacy comp if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a big, big part of this. But again, it's about the control point. It's about capturing that objective at the end of the day. So your pharmacy composition is not going to be the ones with their boots on the ground to make that happen. So it's up to the rest of the team to win the ground war as well. So, but yeah, I guess any final predictions before we hop into game here that you're looking from either team?
Well, with the fact that we are starting on the most popular one for Farah to be on, I'm expecting more than likely we're going to see the pharmacy come out on either side. Of course, neither team will probably show their hand for us right away, but I think that's what we'll end up seeing.
Yeah, that's right. And it's interesting to see on the side of Aether, the preference on both the Winston and the Reinhardt, whereas on side of Team Not That Bad, the Reinhardt and the Roadhog here. So we're going to see whatever tanks they decide to bring out. But again, it's going to be about controlling that ground game regardless of what is going to be in the air. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely excited to see how this matchup goes, as they are both, going to be pretty evenly matched again they've gone through an entire season grinding as a 6-stack. And I think there's not a lot that can be said that can overemphasize the value of that. Like, you can grind a solo queue all you want, but then when you're with a team and coordinating in your specific role, you're definitely going to learn a lot, and bring that experience now to a final in Season 3 will be really big.
And of course, the blue team is Aether, Team Not That Bad in the red as the doors open and both teams head towards the point. Fox Falsetto's throwing out some rockets as both teams go into the white room here to start off. As first on to the point will be Aether, and the shield battle will happen there to start off. Quick throw in of the right clicks on either side, and getting hooked in and taken out first was Dom 9000, but quickly threw as them back up onto the point as the fight continues here. A boot by Talos too to get Zur off, so the Mercy gone here. Advantage at least early on to Aether.
Yeah, Aether getting the prime position on the point here. They still haven't quite capped it yet, but still looking pretty good here, unless Team Not That Bad can salvage the situation here. But it looks like they're just throwing bad money, good money into the bad, as they will lose the point and get staggered as well. John Freeman getting taken out on the Farah, trying to get back on the point as well.
Well, that boop was a big thing and sort of swinging things in their favor, Mushu. I mean, the fact that Mercy couldn't find somebody to shift to was one of the big things there, because normally you don't see that boop happen too often.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll see how Team Not That Bad decides to try to move back onto this point. Now with the Reinhardt shield, it's going to be very difficult. And even Falsetto getting a pick on that back line. That Zenyatta going down, having to use that res very early. And another pick yet again. John Freeman going down again.
Yeah, Fox Falsetto just coming around. Hasn't used his verticality too much just because they've been going to the right room. Oh, uses the barrage there, gets one, but quickly gets taken out. But it's going to be enough for his team to snowball and keep the momentum and force away Team Not That Bad.
You look at that situation, doesn't look good. They lose the barrage to just a Helix rocket from the side of Team Not That Bad. But now you look at those ultimates. That is a 5 to almost 2 ultimates for the tide of Team Not That Bad. They're going to really have to get a lot of value out of these ultimates, but an Earthshatter could be the ticket.
So you have to be happy then, too, if you're the side of Aether with how many ultimates you had to use, only that one. And with how many you have, this next fight, we'll see how they decide to use their ults. Is coming in from the White Room once again. Earthshatter gets a couple, and the barrage following up there by Freeman to try and counter it, but it's not going to be enough, and it's a team wipe once again for Aether.
Oh man, look at the way that Team Aether made so much space for the Tactical Visor from Boat Ninja. We're just able to sit in the back there and just pocketed by that Mercy with a Tactical Visor. That's going to be a 4K for Boat Ninja there.
and their ult economy has been great. Now they use the Zarya ult, use that to get everybody on the side. Nobody ends up following. Out comes the Lucio ult. The charge in by Dom doesn't get anybody, as this fight going in favor once again of Aether on the point.
Yeah, Team Not That Bad getting completely scattered on the engage there. That Earth Shatter was not able to connect on as many people as they would have wanted. Is this Reinhardt trying to do as much as he can on the point, but that's going to be a rocket barrage coming up from Fox Falsetto to seal the deal here, as this Reinhardt surely will go down. Just a D.Va left and a Mercy. Can they make a miracle happen here?
They take out the Mercy first smartly, as in comes the Pharah here, just to try and stall things out, trying to keep it alive for Team Not That Bad, but it's not good enough. Aether will take point number 1 and go up 1-0 here on Lijiang Tower. So when you look at that start, Mushu, I mean, Aether was just in control from the beginning. The pharmacy part of that, but also just really great ult usage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they got ult economy advantage very early on, and they just maintained it. They didn't go super crazy, and we're definitely on the comm side arranging everything to making sure that they're using it as smartly as possible. So we'll see here, Team Not That Bad, what kind of adjustments they're going to make coming out of the gate here.
They are a team, too, that said that they will flex if they have to onto their picks, so we'll see if that's something they decide to try and do here, as the doors are going to open in just a second here for markets, as both teams will come out. As the night market now, right in the middle where that fight's happening, both teams using their Reinhardts to push towards the plank. Quick pin there by Dom, doesn't get Just Joe too much there, and then the charge of his own, and he gets taken out, but quickly rezzed right back was Just Joe.
Yeah, Team Not That Bad. They're getting a lot of really early picks there, and Dom leading the charge there with a double kill on that Fire Strike. This is definitely the opening that they wanted, making the adjustments here, fighting from the backside of the point instead of trying to fight into the point.
It was interesting too, Mushu, because the first thing that you see happen is you see the charge, and you're like, okay, not a bad charge, but the bubble happens, but Dom's still able to follow up on it, and his Fire Strike was a big reason why.
Yeah, had already done the damage so that the Fire Strike did take those kills, and that's why you saw that on the kill feed. And we'll see here, Just Joe trying to move in here, gets pinned backwards, and just right now, we see Aether's Fox Falsetto trying to do work in the backline, does take out the Mercy, so this could be pretty big here for the blue team, because the res will not be available for the side of Team Not That Bad, and they're slowly but surely, oh, but no, the Pulse Bomb in return to get taking out 2 here, and it looks like an even trade so far.
A fight that looked like it was going to go in the favor of Not That Bad, especially after the double kill with the Pulse Bomb. But just a good job of keeping their composure by Aether and just getting everybody back up.
Yeah, they'd already gotten the value out of Mercy there in that fight, so Aether did flip the point, even though they got that double kill from the Pulse Bomb, as well as Juicy R is going to get another kill on the Meep Moop, and this Earth Shatter, just to make sure that that they'll be able to hold on to this point here. Even Tactical Visor coming out from Boat Ninja, they really, really want to hold this here, feeling like they got to throw in a lot of ultimates to maintain it.
Sound barrier used on either side, but Fox Falsetto will still get the Rocket Barrage kill onto the Lucio and Aaron, as the numbers start to dwindle for the side of Team Not That Bad, trying to get out with his life is Freeman, but not able to, as Fox Falsetto finds him and staggers him. A big stagger there.
My ultimate is charging.
Yeah, you look at, for the side of Team Not That Bad, they're equal on the ultimates now, but, I mean, that was just brutal. That was such a time stagger, at least another minute and a half that was wasted for that, and Aether even threw in the Earth Shatter on their own side, and Boat Ninja with his Tactical Visor, and so now they are still even, so we're continuing to see really good ultimate economy management from the side of Team Aether.
Coming back in is Not That Bad. The hook getting Just Joe, but quickly bubbled. And then the ult used by the Zarya as Graviton Surge gets about 3 or 4, and they follow up on it to continue as they build up to 72%.
It's the same story as we've been talking about, that ultimate economy being so efficient with that. Just a Graviton Surge and a Reinhardt in the middle with a projected barrier swinging his hammer, and that will surely seal the deal. Even the Pharah getting those rockets in from behind the Reinhardt shield as well.
They still have that ult economy too. They're very close to a bunch of ults, although you do have Freeman and Dom. They can maybe try to team up if they can get a good one there. And the Fire Strike by Just Joe. And then there's the counter Earth Shatter as he charges into Just Joe to clear the area. And they get the flip from behind too off of that Shatter. So now the fight will happen on the point here. The pulse bomb comes in, doesn't kill anybody because the player died who it was on, and Aether's still able to hold on and flip it back as they get to 99%, the overtime meter ticking down. I don't think anybody can get there either, and map number 1 will go to Aether.
Wow. I mean, you can call that absolutely worth for Team Aether, despite the fact that Meep Moop was getting the cap on the backside. Yeah, they were able to flip it back at 99% and secure the round, but let's go ahead and check out that play of the game from Boat Ninja.
And I think the unfortunate thing, a very good play here following up on that Earth Shatter. That's just good timing by a team. That's communication in order to be able to do that. You see that he's almost doing it right as the Shatter's going in, so you're getting full effect out of your tactical visor. So that's great communication from the team here on map number 1. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was the same story that we saw throughout both maps there, but I think we definitely do have to highlight the tank play, opening it up so that the DPS, or at least the soldier on the ground, could get off attack visor like that, right? I mean, you just look at the rest of the team. You have a Zarya in your face. You have a Reinhardt in your face. You're not going to be focusing down the soldier. You have to deal with those tanks that are just going to be destroying you. I mean, Reinhardt does so much damage, and the Zarya was surely going to be charged up at that point. So yeah, definitely hats off to Aether. That was a very, very commanding victory and a statement game for sure against Team Not That Bad.
And one thing that I want to talk about too is at the end there of the second map on Night Gardens, when you have Meep Moop back cap on them, and there's a couple of other players as well. You had a great Earth Shatter come out from Dom on a counter Earth Shatter that actually got a lot of players, but because they were back capping, you don't have that follow-up on it. And that's sort of the give and take that you have at times when you have that back cap.
Yeah, and it's a tough spot because if you get an Earth Shatter like that, like Team Not That Bad did, it could have been just a moment away, or just a mistake away, an ability away from absolutely clearing the team after you get that counter Earth Shatter. But that just wasn't the case. I don't know if a Tracer being there in the front line to clear everyone that was on the ground would have been enough DPS in the time that they were in that knockdown phase. So definitely not the worst call from the side of Team Not That Bad. But of course, as we saw, it didn't really work out for them.
Right. You do get that. You have to get that flip, right? That was the most important thing. So you have to try and do it, and you just have to hope the follow-up was there. The next map that we're going to be going here to eventually is going to be Kings Row. And as far as both teams have said here, Kings Row is a map that they're both actually very comfortable on. So I'm excited for this one. This is also, of course, that map that everybody puts very high as far as maps go in any game, put up right there with Final Destination and a lot of others. What are we expecting from this one, Mushu?
Well, I mean, I think for this case here, we saw the great Reinhardt play and the tank play, Reinhardt and Zarya together from Team Aether. Definitely expect to see that back, and we'll see if they're starting on the attack or defensive side. But that's going to be just a really big factor. Those two heroes together, if you can play that really well in the streets phase and even in point one, all the way through the map, you can really, really carry the game from the tank role here. But for Team Not That Bad, and we saw some shining as well from their side. It was a little bit tough because they're always at an ultimate disadvantage there, but you can definitely tell that they will also have the coordination as well. Just need to get themselves in the front seat and not in a position where they're at a disadvantage.
Yep, definitely. I'm really excited to see this map as we start to get ready for it now. And I don't think comps, are going to change too much from either side either.
Yeah, you can bring a lot of the same composition here for Kings Row. Again, it's acts like a control point in point one, of course, and then you move into the streets phase here. But there's a lot of close quarters here, so could see some different compositions for the DPS, but expect the tank play to be much of the same.
And you were talking about how important that focus is on the tank play and how that really swung fights, especially from what we saw from really both Just Joe and Dom. Dom at times making plays for his team to even give them some opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, even baiting out the Earth Shatter and then getting the counter there. But I believe both teams will be staying on the same side, so we'll be Team Aether on the blue, Team Not That Bad on the red. But more importantly, what that means is Team Not That Bad will be setting the pace first on the attack.
And with that being said, do we see them make some changes? And maybe maybe you try something a little different. You definitely see from the side of Aether that Fox Falsetto is playing on the Junkrat, and he's already placed his trap down, trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, we are seeing we are in the game now, but yeah, like you said, Fox Falsetto in the Junkrat role, and we do see on the side of the attack, this could be a big change as well. Reaper doing a lot of damage if you can get up close and personal. So combining the Reaper with the Winston could be pretty big here on the attack. They can jump to that back line and just make their way through the hotel to get there. They could definitely get a couple picks off early, especially Mercy here was still with that that insta-res before the patch.
Will be quite the interesting patch when it comes, but still have that quick res right now, and going up and getting ahead early is Dom on the Winston this time. So a little more dive, but not exactly, because they have a Reaper as well, as he jumps towards the back line now, gets bubbled in, but Fox Falsetto will find him. His team's able to get on the point. The res comes in from Zvu, but gets taken out by Boat Ninja's right click as Aether starts to clean up here.
Yeah, they had the right idea, jumping into the back line, trying to get a pick, but unfortunately both Just Joe and, both John Freeman on the Reaper and Dom on the Winston not able to focus the same people there. They got a little bit split up as they went in for the attack. So rinse and repeat here. No one has their ultimates quite yet, so let's see how this decides to play out.
And there's a little bit of, seems like miscommunication between Dom and his Zarya, as Dom dropped the bubble and then got bubbled.
Yep. Got to coordinate on that. You see here, they're going to be going in again. And yeah, there you go. I mean, that's going to be both bubbles at the same time, so not charging up the Zarya here. But they're starting to do the work. Well, already the Earthshatter is going to be charging back everybody else, but no, not getting anyone there. Juicy R does get a double kill, so it looks like here, Team Not That Bad brings in the res, but I don't think they're going to be able to get a push again here, so they're going to have to back up and take stock.
Praise be his at the Valkyrie through as well, very close to it, as the both teams kind of sit at the choke and just kind of poke around the hotel. Dom on top of it right now, looking for maybe an opportunity to jump in as his team looks to prepare and figure out what they're going to do. Now comes down from on top, dealing out that damage with the Tesla cannon onto the point. The Ana being played here as well. Good Zarya ult catches two in the Graviton Surge. Rest of the team gets away. Vox Falsetto falls up with the tire. Out comes Zvu's Valkyrie ult, but hasn't rezzed anyone with it. Has to use it to escape, actually, as that's going to end up being a loss there. Uses the res at the end to get Aaron the Ana back up. And this is where you see it start to shift. We can go ahead and check out a replay of that Zarya ultimate into the Riptire as well. Just locking up everyone who would be going onto the point from that angle. Really good spot for the Graviton Surge. But guys, we are right back into the action again, as we're just seeing the same tactics from Team Not That Bad, but a big Graviton Surge here, but nothing to follow up. The Transcendence from the Zenyatta is going to be popped from the side of Aether, so on defense side, they will be kept very healthy here as Boat Ninja pops his Tactical Visor in response. But now this could be the opening that that Team Not That Bad needed. They're starting to flood onto the point here. Aether needs to find an answer here if they want to contest. Very close. They have 5 players on the point right now. As they come around, they will have one more chance to contest. Fox Falsetto going in first, gets taken out by the Helix Rocket. Praise be his, has to res him back into the fight as the fight comes on to the point now. Fox Falsetto just trying to stall for his team as they come back on. Just Joe gets the Fire Strike kill as his team tries to trickle back on here. Gets a big Earth Shatter. That'll get 2. And now there's just 2 players left here on the point for Team Not That Bad. Freeman trying to get out, and John Freeman taken down, and running away with his life is Aaron. Oh man, you cannot even measure that with a ruler. Let's go ahead and check a replay of that retake there. Aether coming onto the point in just force there. I mean, they're just styling so well. The Zarya jumping in the last second, and then the Reinhardt coming in with the Earth Shatter, knocking back down Meat Move and as well as the other DPS at the same time, and just stifling their hopes here. But this is one last chance here for Team Not That Bad. Fox Falsetto starts it off with the Riptire to get 1, so advantage early on. The Transcendence a little bit late, but Just Joe gets rezzed right away. But Freeman doing work on the Reaper, gets a couple of kills. Fox Falsetto getting one after he died, giving his team maybe a chance here. Graviton Surge grabs a couple here, but can they follow up on it? It's pretty much Just Joe and a couple of others trying to keep it in favor of Aether. Swinging his hammer away, gets another one as he uses the Shatter, and that cleans it up for his team as the overtime meter goes away, and Aether holds on to that first point, but 97.7% built up by Team Not That Bad.
That is absolutely devastating if you are a team not that bad. Your Reinhardt you're playing into gets 3 Earth Shatters on point 1. That is crazy there. And what that means is that he's able to get really great value Fire Strikes and really great value Hammer Swings and just charge him that ultimate so many times. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen 3 Earth Shatters in a point 1 hold in King's Row or any hybrid map of that in that regard.
And I think you have to give credit to Praise Be His for staying alive throughout a lot. Ran onto the point to res Fox Falsetto and was able to stay alive. That, I think, was one of the biggest turns.
Yeah, and GCR, definitely a big part of that as well. Got the projected barrier onto the Mercy, Praise Be His, when he got onto the point. And was definitely thinking like, all right, that Mercy is definitely going to melt if the team Not That Bad's going to be focusing the Mercy down. But no, the projected barrier was enough HP to be able to save that Mercy. So, I mean, it looks pretty rough here for Team Not That Bad. They're going to have to do a gargantuan hold here. But at the same time, 97.7%, it is doable. But given how the game has been going, this is definitely not favoring their momentum.
I think it should be Praise Be Her for Praise Be His, because that's what was one of the big differences for sure. And like you said, GCR with that bubble. But now you have to go for the full hold here on the side of Team Not That Bad. They're going with this comp that they're comfortable with, except they've got Aaron on the Junkrat here. So playing on that, they have Zru playing on the Lucio. So a little bit different here of a look.
Yeah, they need to take away the power from Just Joe on the Reinhardt. They need to burn his shield down and make him get to a point where he can't get those high efficiency the Fire Strikes as well as the Hammer Swings. So I want to see if they're going to be burning down his shield in time, or even if Team Aether is going to give them time to. He's already passed here. Yeah, we're going to see the damage being dumped into Just Joe's shield. See how they see how they go on the approach here.
The Flower Junkrat trap is what was used there to start off by Aaron. It did get GCR, but couldn't get the follow-up kill onto him. But both teams poking at each other, trying to break those Reinhardt shields. As moving on to the point here is Aether, as the fight will happen here. Just Joe charging in onto Dom. He gets the follow-up with the hammer to give the 6-on-5 to his team here. Happening here in this corner, as that's where the charge happened, is now the fight. Just Joe getting rezzed, or Dom getting rezzed finally, and charging right back in. Hits the pole, but Just Joe ends up falling. This looks like it's going to maybe go in favor here in a second of Aether as they get a couple more kills. It's just back and forth right now on the point as the Mercies try to keep their teams in, and Dom and Just Joe really going at it here in this fight for the Reinhardts, and this fight's stalling out.
Okay, both Reinhardts being pocketed here as we do see the whole hog coming out from Splo. He'll be able to clear it out on this defense here. So it looks like they will stabilize here, but they have to take care of Fox Falsetto, who's raining in rockets from above here. But they do have the sound barrier coming in to reinforce, add to that health pool for Team Not That Bad. And it looked really, really rough there, but they do stabilize before even giving up one tick.
That was quite a fight too, Mushu. I mean, it was kind of just this kind of drag out on the point. It didn't really do anything either. That definitely favors Team Not That Bad.
It's Battle of the Rhines for sure, as both have Earth Shatter now, as you can see. And both Mercies that were pocketing them have their Valkyries as well.
So we'll pay attention to those. Joe gets booped, but right into a good position. The Lucio comes out after, but Fox Falsetto able to get 2 before John Freeman ends up killing himself. The counter shatter does get a couple towers, gets bubbled though, so it doesn't do any damage as the point continuing on the fight here, and it's starting to go blue for Aether as they end up getting the better. And now it's just a matter of trying to build this up. Will they have enough time to get back, though, for Team Not That Bad?
Yeah, but this Lucy will be able to touch onto the point to contest here. But no, he will get burned down right away as soon as he touches it. That will be map 2 going again to Aether, taking a quick 2-0 in the map score.
Wow, what a switch that ended up happening there, too. And it's unfortunate because you have a player get pushed into a position in order to have that as we look at the play of the game here from Freeman.
Yeah, we saw, I mean, the Reaper here, as we were thinking, you just got to get up into the face of the enemy team and get a lot of work done, and that's going to be, yeah. Even though that was on the side, I believe, of Team Not That Bad, it wasn't enough there, right? And we saw kind of, so it was very unfortunate there. The boop from ZRU on the side of Team Not That Bad actually put the Reinhardt in a much better situation, much better angle for that Earth Shatter once he finally hit the ground. Definitely unlucky, but you had the feeling that that's probably was going to be the map result anyways.
But what a way for that to go too, Mushu, because Dom had a good Earth Shatter after that, and unfortunately, again, just didn't quite have that follow-up in the way that you needed it to, but that's just because of the circumstances that happened right before it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we'll see. Luckily, we're going to be going into a bit of a break here for the side of Team Not That Bad. Got to take a little bit of a breath, sit in comms. You have to have a plan to adjust there, and they definitely need to take power away from this Reinhardt. He's just doing so much work for Team Aether and making so much space and getting those Earth Shatters so fast. And if you can engage on the rest of the team, even if the Reinhardt's not in that Earth Shatter, it is enough to open it up so that your Pharah can get the damage down, because it just makes it so easy to get those direct shots, and they do a lot more damage than just the AoE. So,
yep, and we will throw it right back to Pim as we will take a break here, and we'll be back as we get ready for map 3.
That's the Graviton Surge coming down, instantly comboed in with Demu's
Oh,
lovely
man.
ult. That's 4 kills instantly traded on.
immediately into a huge four-player barrage off of D'Amico. That was a hell of a play. Back-to-back.
Widow now, he's doing it all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh my God!
That's going to be the point they take.
That is a third kill on Widow. That's gonna wrap that up.
Also have the ult from Mythbustman, and here a very big ult from Zerglin with the combo with Pokecraft as he throws the Tracer Bomb in, and that wipes everybody.
We've got another 2-2-2 based on Pharmacy coming out from Cloud Riders. And
Well, it's a
immediately gets the pick.
2-2-1 after that pick.
This overtime, if they leave for just half a second, this is going to be game over for them. That's going to be a self-destruct coming down.
Hello, welcome back to twitch.tv/OEW University, where we're presenting you the Division 4 North America Finals, and coming up later we will be having the Division 1 Finals. But first, let's, if you're just tuning in to here, this is Overwatch University League, and if you want to learn more about us, you can go to our website at owuniversity.com, or you can go to our Discord at discord.gg/OWUniversity. There you can ask questions, find teams, find players, find scrims, or find subs. So join our Discord. It's a great community. And if you want to watch us some more, we try to stream often every Saturday, at least during the regular season. You can follow us here on Twitch, or you can follow us on Twitter at OW University. There you can get updates on when we're signups open, which might be in January for Season 4. So let's dive in. Actually, before we get into that, we do have a giveaway. I do have a $20 Blizzard code that I will be giving away. As you'll see shortly, the code will be down there on the screen. So get your keyboards ready, get your Blizzard login ready, and here's your giveaway. So we will display that for a good bit of time. You can get that $20 code, and congrats to whoever wins it. But for right now, let's go to Tormented by Gnomes. Talk to us. What was working there on Lijiang Tower for Aether?
So Mook and I started out by discussing the different compositions that these teams had to offer, and I mentioned that if Aether had open sky to play with, they were going to do well, and that's pretty much what went down. We saw on the very first map, Night Market, both teams rolled out fairly standard with what they had to offer, and the one thing that I noticed that Aether did well was, well, first off, let's just talk about Juicy on the Zarya. Juicy on the Zarya is a little bit of the story of this entire series. And when those two teams first clashed, and Not That Bad was rolling with the Roadhog, the Zarya was a perfect counter to that. And we saw Not That Bad go in through the back bridge over and over, wary, as Mookie pointed out, of Aether's Pharah and that dreaded Reddit boop off the bridge. But they kept playing right into their hands over and over on that first map. They did make some swaps when they realized that they were getting countered by Juicy's Zarya. They swapped to a Zarya of their own, but they didn't pivot their team comp in the way that was needed to really take advantage of a direct counter.
All right, and Mukai, what else do you have to add to that about how Aether was doing, or what team not that bad? Um, they they was a little disappointing there, I think, in that first map.
And what it comes down to for me is ult usage. As Gnomes mentioned, they pushed right through the building again and again, fearing that boop. The last time they attacked, they went over the bridge. What did they do? They led off with Transcend. It's a bit of an odd decision if you're afraid of the boop, because the boop would just cancel the Transcendence right out. And because they used it so early going across the bridge, it didn't really get any healing done. It didn't really have any use, because it wore off right about the time that the reactive Graviton Surge ran out. If you had waited and used that Transcendence right after the Graviton Surge started, probably could have held off a few picks from happening, might have swung that fight. Another example of the ult usage being a little off-kilter, at the end, almost, of Lijiang Tower, there was a very good reactive Earth Shatter coming out of Team Not That Bad. The problem was, even though that Earth Shatter caught both supports, the DPS was nowhere near positioned to take advantage of it. Instead, Ryan charged in alone after his own Earth Shatter, did get a kill, but was immediately mobbed. And that's the biggest difference, aside from ult usage, is coordination. We'll talk more about this on King's Row, but coordination and focusing fire has been the difference for this match.
Absolutely agreed. One thing that I do want to point out on that, before we move on to King's Row, is something that Not That Bad did on Night Market, which showed that they had the right idea. They had some idea of what the problem they needed to solve was. A tracer swap to put pressure onto the supports for Aether, which there was no pressure whatsoever on Garden. And in that very first fight, they went in onto the point, and they did much better in close quarters, like we said. And they were able to get some support kills. But once that happened, it just seemed like there wasn't ult tracking going on. Aether was able to come at them with ults when they weren't ready. And that really carried them through Night Market.
Yeah, so King's Row, another decisive win for Aether, as they won 1-0, so they fully held, and then they got the point. I mean, it wasn't as quick as most people probably thought it was going to happen, but they had a great defense. It was at 97, I think 0.8%, so they're so close to getting in there. But then Mercy came in there with that res and that Junkrat, and we did see Junkrat. Junkrat's pretty big now, and I think I was expecting to see Junkrat, especially being in Division 4. It's middle of the packed tier, and you see Junkrat quite often. But even then, in pro play, you're seeing Junkrat all the time. Now, Aether also busted out a Widow on the offense. Wasn't as much success as Fox Falsetto, I noticed, was doing great. But I mean, what is Team Not That Bad gonna have to do? What could they have done better in King's Row? Mukai?
Focus, focus, focus. The entire difference can be summed up on what was happening during the dives on King's Row Point A. When Team Not That Bad was attacking, they sent Winston in alone with a Zarya bubble. Aether immediately focused fire, put Discord on him, just melted the monkey, and it was a 5v6. When Aether dove, they had Orion go in, didn't even need to bubble him because Team Not That Bad was not focusing them. And as a result, Just Joe was just able to run rampant and do whatever he wanted in Team Not That Bad's back line. That, I think, that shows the real value of coordination, and that shows why Team Not That Bad is having trouble. They've got to work on their shot caller, just saying, focus X, right when you need to do that. The other thing I think they need to do, they need to have a little better idea of how their swaps are affecting their composition. I really liked they swapped to Reaper for King's Row. That was a good call given what had been giving them trouble, but they didn't really do anything else to synergize with Reaper. They were doing kind of a half dive, half deathball comp, and as a result, they weren't really achieving the goals of either comp. Gnomes, you had some words while we were watching it about that.
Whenever you're building a composition, it needs to be tailored to the map, it needs to be tailored to the enemy's team, it needs to be tailored to your strengths, but above all, it needs to have a defined win condition. And with that composition of, Mukai's already kind of touched on the disparate elements of it. Okay, Reaper's good, that's a good play, but he needs to be able to get in. How are you going to get him in? Well, their only main tank was a Winston, whose movement is completely incompatible with Reaper unless you have some other sort of pressure. Reaper needs to either take a completely different angle to get in, have a Lucio to speed him in, have a Reinhardt shield to get him in. There wasn't a clearly defined, if these things happen, we will kill the enemy team going on. I saw them trying to contest the high ground, and their one really good play when they came so close to, they had that 97% of the point capture, was when they initiated their play when Reaper had already gone all the way around, and he Death Blossomed right after the Transcendence went off on point. So that was good, but the composition did not have a pre-built, when these things happen, we win. One other thing, and Mushu commented on this during the match, was the sheer number of Earth Shatters that Joe was able to play on the side of Aether. And this is something that I harass my team about all the time. Dodge Fire Strikes. We were both up in the sky looking at the engagements, and Joe was able to hit tons of Fire Strikes. Now, in that match, there were a lot of Fire Strikes from the side of Not That Bad that went through several members of Aether as well. But ultimately, the math worked out where either the engages took place where they were right on top of the point getting hit by that hammer, or they were just getting farmed over and over by these Fire Strikes, building up to these massive shatters.
And the last thing I want to say before we go back to the casters, Team Not That Bad, if they think they're going to see a pharmacy, they cannot play a comp that has no hit scan. They tried that starting out on King's Row. It went badly for them. If it's on a map like King's Row that has a lot of aerial space, I think it's mandatory to have a McCree like they switched to partway through, or a soldier, and they need to have it starting out.
Yeah, and I noticed that, they late game they try to bring a McCree on, but the next fight, McCree didn't have any ult. He wasn't really. He should have been in the fight a lot earlier, and it just wasn't enough. And Aether just came right in there and took the point. But we are going to be going to a 2CP map next. What maps are you guys expecting to see? I think we did get some preferred maps from these teams. Gnomes, what kind of 2CP map do you think we're going to see get picked from Team Not That Bad?
It's their pick, and they told us ahead of time that some of their favorite maps are Anubis, Dorado, and King's Row. They picked King's Row. It didn't go their way, so now they want to take it to Anubis. What aspects of Anubis make it good for them? That last point, Pharah is good there, but it really has those close quarters and cover that favor their brawl, deathball style combat that they prefer. So I think that's where they're going to make their stand. They're going to try to dig their heels in and turn the momentum of this series around.
And I know that Team Not That Bad has a pick, but Mukai, what map do we not want them to see? What map's going to favor Aether?
They want to avoid Hanamura. Hanamura is one of Team Aether's favorite maps. The other two, Lijiang Tower and King's Row. So we've already played on Aether's home maps twice in a row. And I think going to anything but Hanamura is what Team Not That Bad absolutely has to do from here on.
All right. Well, I just got information that the Division 2 North American Finals have finished, and Boosted Animals have won 3-0. And I did not get to mention this before, but the results from the EU Finals we had from Division 4, Code Red winning. From Division 3, Dynasty Esports. From Division 2, we had Undertake, and from Division 1, we had Last Rites. Those were all our EU finalists. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to our Division 2 NA final or champions, Boosted Animals. So with that, let's bring this back over to the casters with Mushu and Labasco.
Thank you very much, Pimp, and we're back here. Glad that you're with us as we're at match point ourselves for this one. Maybe we'll be crowning Aether after we go to this next map, which will be Temple of Anubis. And Mushu, you heard that this is the map that they wanted for Not That Bad to pick, that this would be the thing that favored them the most.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll see what picks they decide to bring out. There's a lot of different ways you can play Anubis, a lot of different angles, whether you play up front at the choke point or dial back to the point itself and try to fight on there as well. Or I mean, sometimes even teams are much better at holding point 2 than point 1. Like point 1 can go and evaporate right away, but they have just a rock solid defense on point 2. So we'll see as well for who decides to who's going to be defending first and who's going to be attacking first. But all indications right now are saying that Not That Bad will be trying to set the pace with the attack first. So Labasco, what do you think in terms of I guess Just Joe and Juicy R, do you think they're going to keep running the Reinhardt and Zarya composition?
It's been working so well. Why try and fix something that's not broken, right? So I don't see why they wouldn't stay with what has been working for them and working really well. They coordinate so well with it too. I mean, Just Joe has had some just awesome shatters as well. And we were mentioning earlier about how 3 in on point 1 for King's Row. So why would you pull somebody off a character that they're on fire with right now?
Yeah, for sure. But definitely Team Not That Bad can take advantage of that. There's a lot of space you have to move uh, in order to get from the beginning, that first choke point, to getting to the point. So we'll see if Team Aether on their attacking side decide to try to move through that left small corridor through there. I mean, it's definitely something that can be punished when you're that close together. And especially right now, we did see Team Not That Bad, I believe, bring out the Junkrat. Again, it's about melting the shields. Got to take away power from Just Joe and Juicy YR on Juicy R on those tank plays. So
the one thing too, Mushu, both teams have players that main Pharah. This is a map where you can play Pharah for sure. There's a lot of verticality. So that could be something we see in both of them. And the couple of things that we've seen really that have been the difference, the tanks. And the one thing I'm curious to see is Splona, does he stay with the Roadhog? It's been his most comfortable tank. He's also played some Zarya, some others as well. What is that off tank that we end up seeing?
yeah, I mean, you can run the Roadhog, but it's especially where he is in the meta. You do have to kind of play around the Roadhog, be looking for the hooks. He will not one shot a hero. Maybe a Tracer if you get it just right and you after the hook walk up and get a headshot. You need to be able to play around it so that when you're the hog on your side of the team, he gets that hook. Everyone is focusing that person down because what is not valuable, what not is valuable about hog is the fact that he can get the hook and try to get like a one shot. It's about that person is under crowd control the entire time, so they can't do anything in the time period of them getting hooked to them being pulled in front of you. And so in that moment, can your team burst down whatever hero is there? So
yeah, and coordination is something that has to be there then too, and that's something we also heard both Amuki and Gnome say that the coordination right now for Aether has been just off the charts, especially compared to how Not That Bad has been so far. So maybe they go away from that Roadhog just because they haven't been on that same page the way they want to be.
for sure. And I guess in terms of adjustments here, do you think Team Not That Bad might go into some more Mimi plays here? Some more stuff that, I don't know, some team compositions?
I mean, this is a map where it can work, right? This is a map where you've seen the Bastion come out. You've seen some of those picks. Not necessarily a bad pick is Symmetra on this map either. If you know how to play her, you could see that. And Temple of Anubis is known too for Sombra play. So
Yes.
So there are other picks out there that Team Not That Bad can do that could maybe throw a wrench into things or make it be something unexpected for Aether, something that they're not expecting to maybe see just from what they know of what Team Not That Bad does. So if you've been working on that one off character, this could be the time to pull it out and see, well, let's see how it goes. I mean, they're down 0-2. This is the final map for them potentially. Why not throw everything at the wall and see what sticks?
Exactly. And they've gotten this far, right, in the tournament, and they've definitely had to and would have had to have faced some hardship, as they're climbing up the ladder or climbing up through the playoffs as well. And so we definitely want to see them try something different here, or at least try something different in the play style, right? You have to try to rise to the occasion instead of just let the roll continue to happen. So we'll see Team Not That Bad. Hopefully they have some adjustments as well. But totally agree for the side of Team Aether. I don't know if you really have to make that many adjustments at all. They've been just continuing to have better coordination, have better ultimate economy. They just need to keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, and I think we need to give some more credit to Juicy R for the Zarya play. The timing of bubbles and the use of the barriers has been really, really good and has saved the side of Aether a couple of times.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like we're almost getting everyone back into the lobby here. But so we'll be getting started shortly. Thanks everyone for your patience. As we will be going again to Temple of Anubis. we just to review what the map score has been so far. It is Team Aether. This is the Division 4 finals for NA. Again, there were 6 divisions, but we're doing the Division 4 final right now, and later we will be following up with the Division 1 matchup, which will definitely be a ton of fun. But first map went to Team Aether 2-0 over Lijiang Tower. Kings Row, they just had to get 1 point there versus Team Not That Bad, and now we are on Anubis here. So Team Aether, it is match point in the map. One more map, and they will be crowned the winners of Division 4 in NA.
And we're going to see Aether in the blue to start off here as well. In the red will be Team Not That Bad. So you will see on attack first, Team Not That Bad. See what they decide to do here on their first attempt on Temple of Anubis. This is their favorite map as far as 2CP goes. So you think that off of that, you give them an advantage, and maybe they can extend this and make it go 2-1 and force this into a 4th map.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to wonder if it's because they can bring out certain heroes that they enjoy playing and feel like they can exploit the map on, or is it more about the fact that they have a certain play style that fits more into Temple of Anubis? Again, there are a lot of really great sightlines here, so something like Widowmaker, or if you're able to put just positioning of your utility, so whether you have turrets from Symmetra or Torbjorn, if they are going to bring out those crazy picks. So we'll see what Team Not That Bad decides to bring out here as we load into the map very soon.
We really expect it to be pretty standard from what we've seen from Aether so far. And just looking at things right now, it looks like they will stay with what they've pretty much had. Fox Falsetto on the Junkrat again. Everything else pretty much the same. Talos on the Lucio, and Boat Ninja playing some Soldier. On the other side, well, Meat Moop was on the Hanzo there for a second, but goes to the Mercy instead. And they give something a little bit different. They have an Orisa as their off tank.
That's right, and we do see John Freeman here leading out with the Pharah and try to find that distance from afar as they are starting to burn down the shield. Just like we were talking about, they got to take away the power from Just Joe. He's able to stand strong in the front line. Let's see how they decide to deal with it.
Meeting here where the large health pack is, and Freeman will get Talos here early, so one support out. Rez maybe going to have to come in here, but too dangerous of an area, so it looks like they're going to try and just stay away from it, back up.
Yeah, they're guarding the body. They're just guarding the body. They can't even get the res, and that's going to be Just Joe. Now, saving that res for him, though, definitely the smart move.
But now the Reinhardt swing at each other, and the fire strike by Just Joe will get Dom down, so now you have the Reinhardt down on the other hand, and in another situation where you can't really get the res, and now out come the kills here. Meat Moop will use it on Splona, who got taken down on the Soldier 76. And is brought back into this fight, but backing away back into the room and just waiting to regroup. His team Not That Bad, so they couldn't even get to the point on that first team fight.
Yeah, but quickly reinforcing is Team Not That Bad's Reinhardt. Dom is back on this front line. They're going to do the same tactic again, moving up through this mega health pack on this right side from the defensive angle. As we do see already, Just Joe has the Earth Shatter ready to go. But here comes a Rocket Barrage. Is going to be taking out 2, 3 even. Just Joe is going to be going down with his ultimate, and that is definitely the opening they need. Team Not That Bad playing the angle really well on this opening.
Ends up being a quadruple kill for Freeman. Everybody was just stuck in the corner, and the barrage came up at the perfect time. Didn't matter about the Reinhardt shield at all, and they're going to take point number 1 here and have a chance now to put Sean to point number 2.
Made the adjustment for sure, and while Just Joe, like we were talking about, had that Earthshatter ready to go, he was sitting pretty in the corner waiting for them to move up. But oh, just kidding, that's going to be a Rocket Barrage to your face, taking out 4 of your teammates. So definitely a pretty quick take here for Team Not That Bad. We'll see if they can carry the momentum through, as they are down in ultimates, though.
Not by a lot. They do have a couple of players that will be coming up with ults, but with Aether having that early advantage, how do they decide to use their ultimates? We've seen them be very good with it, as Just Joe with an Earth Shatter, and he gets a pretty big one there. He does get the Mercies, but they can't follow up on it. But Fox Falsetto a little bit late, but the tire does the work that needs to be done and gets the Mercy. That'll force Not That Bad to have to escape.
Man, that Earth Shatter from Just Joe looked like such a whiff, but the Rip Tire coming out from Fox Falsetto saved the day. They were just concerned about trying to move in off of that whiffed Earth Shatter there, but they didn't even hear the tire that was coming up behind them. So definitely really great play from Aether. That could have been a very quick point too if the tire was not there.
And I didn't even, on my, I couldn't even hear the Junkrat line So the tire was a surprise for me until I saw it come through the door. But it works out, and that's the important thing. So use 2 ults, keep the advantage. 4:52 though on the clock here for Team Not That Bad to try and take point 2 as they push up the left side here for their next attempt.
Just Joe, though, trading in the Reinhardt for the Orisa. Not sure why they made this swap here. Maybe just for more shields and just more static shields while they're able to put in damage as well, because they're fighting against 2 shields themselves. They do see the Tactical Visor coming out from Splona. You see what they're able to do as they're pushing in this corner here. A trade does happen. John Freeman able to find the Rocket Barrage here, but a big Air Shatter is not going to be able to be followed up because he goes down.
Now comes out the Zarya ult, catches a lot of Not That Bad in there, but there's not much follow-up on the side of Aether. They're stuck in the corner here. You have the Valkyrie ults used. Praise be his taken down, and you're starting to see red there. Freeman with another kill after he got rezzed and brought back into this fight. His team now in control of the point, and they start to build on the meter. Now it's all about stalling here as long as you can. If you're the side of Aether, Fox Falsetto onto the point, trying to get the Diva on there, switching onto it was just Joe. As on the other side, you have the stall come out from the Mei, quickly taken out as they now force their way back on. But Dom and Aaron getting the kills here. A lot of Zenyatta kills on the side, and they clear the point again. Try to get that Riptire. Doesn't matter, even though it got 3, as the point gets captured with 3:36 left to go on the clock. A good time in for Team Not That Bad.
That could have been really, really bad there. The Riptire saved them from that push, opening push on point 2, but the Riptire took out 3, and luckily Orisa had of that damage reduction ability on. I mean, if you clear the point, you can't cap. So that Junkrat definitely almost saving it there, Fox Falsetto. But this is definitely what we wanted to see out of Team Not That Bad coming out of the break, right? They making the adjustments here and taking the power away from Just Joe, who had to swap over that Reinhardt at the end.
I think it was just more because of the stall tactic, going onto the Diva to get to the point faster. Otherwise, he probably stays on it. I think you give just a lot of credit to the side of Team Not That Bad. They just countered things really well. And you really saw John Freeman really shine there on the fair. I think that was one of the big parts. A couple of his barrages were one of the big differences in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the barrage on the opening, of course, you saw the 4K from the Rocket Barrage, but then moving on to point 2, they actually opened up with the Rocket Barrage, and it kind of drew everyone out, right? Like when you hear the Pharah, you want to dump damage onto the Pharah who's doing the ultimate because you are static in the air. You're going to be in one spot, so you can take her out, but then that draws you out sometimes into a position where it's not that favorable. And so Team Not That Bad taking advantage of the fact that Team Aether would want to put a stop to that. So,
but to go back to what you were saying earlier about you still have to be impressed by Fox Falsetto on the Junkrat. He gets that triple kill at the end, but doesn't matter because your team couldn't get there. But his use of that ultimate has been spot on, not just in this map, but you also had it on the last map as well for Kings Row. We are paused as well right now, so it's going to be a second before we jump into the attack here for the side of Team Aether. But while we wait for that, it looks like we're going to see something maybe a little bit different on the side of Aether than what we've seen previously.
Yeah, for sure. So we're seeing right now Fox Falsetto on the Genji, Bone Ninja on the Tracer, both heroes, DPS heroes that we have not seen yet. So looks like Aether reaching a little bit deeper into their hero pool. With this composition on attack, how do you feel about this versus a Pharah that has been dominating in the sky, John Freeman on the side of Team Not That Bad?
Well, they could just be messing with us here since there's only about 12 seconds left 13 seconds left until the map opens. But it's one of those, this is a map where if you're the attacking team, you actually kind of have to go back into your spawn a little bit further to make that change. So if they want to mess with us, they're doing a good job of it. But it's interesting because they're a team that likes to run Death Ball, and they're running a dive is more of what we're going to see from them if this is what they stay with.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, there's a lot of different ways you can play Anubis. You can play a dive, you can play a death ball, but it's about to the win condition, as TBG brought up during the pregame, the analysis here after our break. It is very much about win conditions, and you want to make sure that as a composition that you are picking these heroes that can synergize really well against each other or with each other, and then as well as having ultimates that will work well. there are a lot of heroes that actually they're kind of they work against each other in terms of how their ultimates work or how their abilities work. So for this kind of composition, though, it's more about their standard abilities, not about their ultimates for this dive that we're starting to see come out of Team Aether so far.
But we are sure of what we're going to see from Team Not That Bad. We're going to get the Mercy and the Anna as the supports. You're going to have Dom stay on the Reinhardt. You're going to have, though, a D.Va with it. So Zru on the D.Va, a little bit different from what we've seen. And then you're still, of course, going to stick with the Pharah that worked so well. And Splona on the Soldier, who also did some good work there as well, cleaning up some of the kills that Freeman was getting that splash damage on too.
Yeah, and now that you bring up Splona, it does remind me that for Team Not That Bad, I definitely feel like the story here is the ability for their team to make, for the team of Team Not That Bad, they're making room for these offensive DPS ultimates to get a lot of value. So at the end there, they did lead it off with John Freeman's the Rocket Barrage, again, and they drew a lot of fire out of it, but then they followed up with the Tactical Visor as well. And so just the combining those two at the same time, in order for you as the defending team to be peeking at those heroes to get the damage down, they expect you to be able to get the damage to land on them. But guys, looks like we are about to head into game where the pause is resolved here, luckily before we're all loading to the map. So we're good to go. Team Aether now on the attack, see if they can match the two capture that Team Not That Bad did.
Come out here, and they do go with this dive, with the supports being the Lucio and the Mercy. They're going to quickly rush the right side, go up the stairs and into the room. Now we'll see how they counteract for Team Not That Bad. They're going to take the low ground and get onto the point, as Freeman will just throw in the rockets into that room, and coming up top to deal some damage as well as Drew, who falls back onto the point. Jumping down, Just Joe will get Meat Moop. So the Mercy out here really quick for Team Not That Bad, but can they turn it around on the side of Aether? Praise be his, uses the res to keep his team up in front, and now they just try and eliminate the last couple of players there. Can the Mercy get back in time for Team Not That Bad? It's not going to look like it. Just have the Anna now and a Baby D.Va and Zru as they both go down here. Aaron able to stay alive here for a moment, gets out the nade before finally going down. So a little bit of a stall there, but didn't matter. Very good first take from Aether.
Yeah, surprisingly long stall there from Aaron on the side of Team Not That Bad, but a very quick first take again, even faster than Team Not That Bad on their first point. But there, we saw the D.Va get the final kill onto Meat Moop's the Mercy, and even talking to some of the pros, they've been treating D.Va more as a DPS than a tank recently because of how much burst damage she can do with those micro missiles. And so now, Team Not That Bad on the back foot here. They're gonna have to slow down this momentum from Team Aether as they just come crashing onto the point.
Have the switch onto the McCree, putting the shots on, but the deflect by Fox will definitely take out Splona there, as now he works on the Anna, his team getting some kills as well. The Reinhardt Earthshatter doesn't get anything. D.Va on the point does get 2 for Zru, but still plenty there for Aether as they build up on that time on the ticker now. But getting quickly back on, using the Rocket Barrage was Freeman and taken out right away. But Dom getting rezzed by the Mercy to stay in. Juicy R using the Winston ult to get 2. As it's still here, the respawn's coming in, and it looks like Team Not That Bad will maybe get the chance to clean this up.
Yeah, but the respawn is going to be on favor of Team Not That Bad as they're starting to come back onto the point here, but they're going to have to make efficient work here. We do see the Genji Dragonblade coming off from Fox Falsetto trying to steal the deal, but the Mei wall comes out. That's going to be stalling a little bit more, but no, goes down because she wasn't even in the ice block, and now we see Dom even trying to come back into the point. The stagger is still happening here, but it is too little, too late. Team Not That Bad will surely be going down.
As they finish off here, Meat Boom just coming in, rezzing John Freeman, who's on the Winston, using that Tesla cannon, jumping up into the air. They have the Mei on the corner of the point to stall here. Charging in, missing everyone was Dom. They're keeping this going. Earthshatter does get the Lucio and Talos. He does get taken out by Splona. So now you have the praise be his, use the Valkyrie ult to try and keep things going here. D.Va Bomb gets a couple by Just Joe, and that gives the capture. There was one player there, but not able to get onto the point. 4:54, so about a little bit over a minute, the time bank for the side of Aether, as they do get the capture, but not as big of a gap as what we had thought originally.
Whew. What a round. I mean, we thought that Team Not That Bad came out with a blazing pace, but Aether came back fighting. I mean, that was pretty much the first push on that second point. Let's start actually. First push on the first point that got them that win, and the first push also on the second point that got them that point as well. It was just so extended and so long. We saw 2 May deaths in that second point hold. So it goes to show how long that went on, but still 4:54 left.
Yeah, and I think you give a lot of credit, though, to the side of Team Not That Bad. It could have snowballed and been a lot worse than this, and they still managed to keep composure and just take off as much time as they could. Give a lot of credit, of course, to Aether, because they're able to get some really good ults to finally clear the point, but it was a lot harder than it could have been for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just think about, you take a step back, what happened that last, just that last attacking point for Team Aether? It was that they didn't give the Pharah enough time, and we do see John Freeman here making the swap onto the Sombra. Actually, no, we'll swap to the Reaper here, staying on that DPS. So we'll see how they decide to run this. Is a little bit tough because the only dive right now is on the Winston here. So if they can move up together, then that'll work quite well. But it's going to be about keeping Dom alive as he already is jumping into the front line.
Jumps right in there, dealing some damage, but Juicy R uses the bubble on Just Joe, builds up a little bit percentage as Freeman now will use his walk to go to the right side, putting some damage onto Fox Falsetto. They take each other out. He got into that room, and that's why Freeman was able to do the damage, but Falsetto gets res, so does Freeman, so back into the same spot, and this time escaping away using his shift to get away was Fox Falsetto, as being forced back, his Team Not That Bad.
Yeah, it's as to be expected. As soon as you see Team Not That Bad get split up and have to fight 2 fronts separately, the tank line will be the tank line. The tank line on Team Aether has been outplaying Team Not That Bad, and then the DPS line on Team Aether has been outplaying Team Not That Bad as well. So we definitely want to see Team Not That Bad do a little bit better job grouping up here and playing together as a team.
And now they go back to that original comp they used to take this first point by Team Not That Bad. They have Freeman back on the Pharah and Zru back on the Orisa, and they're going to go to that left side again and up the stairs to try and take this fight as the Reinhardts meet up, and Just Joe swings in. Pulls back away, rocket barrage in here from Fox Falsetto, who came up through the top, and then he gets a rocket onto Freeman to take him out, as pushing forward was Aether, but maybe a little too aggressive here as they're stuck in this room. But still swinging away is Just Joe, and he'll take out Splona and force Team Not That Bad to have to regroup.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out that team wipe again. I mean, pretty much looks like the same story that we saw Team Not That Bad take point 1. Fox Falsetto coming in on the flank, coming through that window that not a lot of people actually know you can go through, and dropping down that great rocket barrage while everyone is inside that point. So many of these ultimates can work so well in this corner, and so Team Not That Bad kind of walked into that. Got to track those ultimates and understand what the other team might have before you choose your direction of where you decide to enter the point.
1:20 left here for the side of Team Not That Bad, and if they don't hurry, this could slip away from them, and they might not be able to force a 4th game. The use of the Graviton Surge gets 2, but Dom following up afterwards to try and throw it back in his team's favor, but Fox Falsetto continuing to get kills, and his tanks as well continue to do work on the point, as they haven't even gotten a tick yet onto the point for Team Not That Bad, and this, of course, match point.
Tactical visor is charging.
Yeah, Team Not That Bad, again, how many times have we said it? Getting split up on their approach. Both tanks able to get in. Dom and, believe he was on the Reinhardt prior to that, but it was both the Winston and the Reinhardt moving in together and fighting on the point. But the rest of the team was caught up in that Graviton Surge in the back. So we're going to see if Team Not That Bad can make the adjustments here. It looks like they're going to a Winston and Orisa as their tank line. So coming up through this left side again on the Mega Health Pack.
And they're going to have to be very careful. Just Joe with the Earth Shatter, and we've seen how dangerous he can be with it. Backing up onto the point right now is Team Aether. Jumping in with the ult from the Ana is Dom, dealing the damage out. Valkyrie ult used by Praise Be His, using his healing there to keep his team up. Just Joe swinging the hammer in, and the kills start to come out. Boat Ninja getting 1, Juicy R as well, as they're starting to clean up here. Valkyrie out used by Meat Moop, and he reses there. The Shatter used gets Splona, so that res doesn't do anything, and Zru gets taken out as well. Overtime meter ticking down here, and it looks like it's going to be a full hold that's needed in order to force a draw on the side of Team Not That Bad if they want to keep their hopes alive.
This is getting pretty rough here for Team Not That Bad. They started off with such great momentum, but now they're really going to have to hunker down. Team Aether have been continuing to dominate, except for the 0.1 in the beginning of this. So they're going to have to really come up with something and hold it down. But you saw at the end there the patience they had with the ultimates, Reinhardt holding on to that Earth Shatter until almost the very end when they almost didn't even need it. And even the Rocket Barrage on top of that as well. Team Aether is outplaying Team Not That Bad from the get-go, from their just normal abilities all the way through the ultimate economy. And Team Not That Bad going to need a miracle here, as they need to hold up to 33%, like you said, in order to even draw it out to a map 4.
The other thing too, Mushu, you talk about ultimate usage. Juicy R just timing these graviton surges at all. It seems like the right time almost every time. Yeah. I mean, he just, I think maybe it's because he's done it so easily. It's one of those things that you're like, oh yeah, he had another good ult.
Yeah.
Because that's just what you expect almost.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a bit about that. Yes, they seem like they're at a really good time, but of course it's also because Aether just is bringing out more ultimates than Team Not That Bad. I mean, we don't have an ultimate counter up there, but if we did, the future of Overwatch stats, we would be able to pull that up on screen right now, just ultimates used in this matchup. But you would definitely see it staggeringly in the side of Team Aether.
And Freeman on the Bastion. Sorry, go ahead, Mushu.
No, go for it.
As you have him on the Bastion here, Splona will get Bout Ninja to start off, but quickly gets taken out and rezzed right back up. His team working their way back up top again. The Bastion in a position to try and deal damage from below, and having that Reinhardt shield in front and just looking to focus on that Bastion as Fox Falsetto takes him out.
He's going to be taken down on the point. Everyone focusing the right target here, as Bastion is not even able to put down damage. He's just trying to heal himself up, and he'll go down for it as well. Team Aether here flooding onto this point. Boat Ninja doing so much work on this Tracer here, as they only have to deal with this Diva left in mini form. How long can you contest? Again, only 33%, and surely this will be Team Aether. They will be taking this map, they will be taking this series, and they'll be taking Division 4 Finals, and they will be crowned the champions, Division 4 NA.
A very concise and good push, too, for them to win this one, Mushu. They did exactly what they needed to. Watching the play of the game, triple kill there that helped at least keep them off the point and help them build that early bank. That bit of a difference was one of the differences here in this map. And then, of course, the great hold for about 3.5 minutes on the second attempt by Not That Bad. And that's why Aether's your champion.
Man, they're just commanding games. Team Aether really came out to play today. And again, all of what was so cool was to see both the individual play be so top-notch and so dominating. But then when they did happen to play together as a team, as a death ball, they dominated even more, right? And so it's shown in the ultimates, just in their ability, like there at the end, Boat Ninja on the Tracer finding so many kills even without the ultimates, able to get those last hits in. But yeah, Labosco, I mean, I don't know if you have any other thoughts about those games.
It's just really great coordination by the side of Aether. They really had some good tanks, and it feels like the tanks was one of where maybe the biggest difference was. The DPS, of course, pretty good, I think, on both sides. Fox Falsetto is somebody who stood out as well, but it was the tanks that really felt like where the difference was made. And you have to give credit to both Juicy R and Just Joe. They did work here. They wanted this championship and they took it. And anything final from you, Mushu?
No, I totally have to echo on that. But again, I think it's really easy for us to see the tank play because, or normally it's easy to see like the DPS carry, but for here, absolutely, it was about the tank play and just working together as a unit. I think being able to survive when they're in those split conditions where it's like the tank line on one side and then the DPS on the other. They did a really good job with handling both of those scenarios.
Well, congratulations once again to the winners in Aether as they take this one 3-0 to win the Division 4 championship. We'll take a break and then we'll be back with our analyst desk. They will wrap things up here for this Division 4 championship, and then we look ahead to the Division 1 championship, which is up next.
And that's the Graviton Surge coming down, instantly comboed in with Demu's
Oh,
lovely
man.
ult. That's 4 kills instantly traded on.
Oh, immediately into a kill! Four-player barrage off of Tamiko! That was a hell of a play, back-to-back.
Widow now, he's doing it all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh my god!
That's
Not
going to be the
fucking
point A
single
take.
out. That is a third kill on Widow. That's gonna wrap that up.
Also have the ult from Mythbustman. And here a very big ult from Zerglin with the combo with Pokecraft as he throws the Tracer Bomb in, and that wipes everybody.
We've got another 2-2-2 based on Pharmacy coming out from Cloud Riders. And
Well, it's a
immediately gets the pick.
2-2-1 after that pick.
This overtime, if they leave for just half a second, this is going to be game over for them. That's going to be a self-destruct coming down. However, 3 kills to finish the match. My goodness. We're still trading quite even, but Dashi is going to get 2. He gets 3. 2 headshots in a row, and that could signal that this point is taken.
The boops are real.
Hello and welcome back to twitch.tv/OW University. This is Pimp in the Crib, back here with Tormented by Gnomes and Mukai Kubo. And we want to say congratulations to Team Aether from Division 4 for winning their finals in a decisive 3-0 victory. I did get news that the Division 3 finals have finished, and we had Captain Crunch and the Serial Killers won 3-1 against Clout Gang. So congratulations to our Division 3 champions there, and of course our Division 4. Going back into that game with Aether versus Team Not That Bad, Gnomes, what allowed Team Aether to secure that victory? I mean, it was such a decisive win, I'd say. There was one point in Temple of Anubis that, they almost, they were getting pushed back fairly well, but then they came back and had an excellent full hold on the first point and their second time at defense.
The reason that they were getting pushed back in that exchange of capture was because on that map, Not That Bad was able to really play to their strengths. They did the double barrier watch with the Rhine and the Orisa, that close quarters combat that they like, pivoting to the left. They really just played the game they wanted to play. And the beauty of Anubis is that the attacking team gets to decide what kind of game to play. Conversely, Aether played their game type, which was a 100% pure old school dive. And Not That Bad was not ready to deal with it. Not on the first time, and then again, not on the second time, when they pulled out the Bastion in order to counter, which just was not a strong answer.
And Mukai, any input on that series? Unfortunately, Team Not That Bad, weren't able to get any map off Team Aether.
It all comes down to adaptability on that second set of attacks. When Team Aether attacked, they did something a little different. They pushed in. It worked. And Team Not That Bad should have expected it. They'd seen it before. They saw the high ground. They saw the dive. And they chose to bring out a defense that was completely helpless against that attack. So a little bit of poor decision making there. And on Team Not That Bad's second attack, it felt like they were just flailing around trying to find a comp that would work instead of going to the thing that had got them through the first point attack first. And as a result, they were never able to build ult economy.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, they did get a loss in unfortunately a 0-3 loss there. But with Aether getting that win, let's before we jump into the Division 1 game between the Patchy Pack and Wild Rose Saints, I just wanted to mention that we will be doing another giveaway after the first two maps. So get your links ready in Battle.net. We will be doing another code giveaway on screen. And then we'll possibly get another sticker giveaway going on sometime, especially if there's like some pauses and stuff going on. We'll try to, buy some time with some giveaways. If you're just tuning in here, this is the Division 1 finals coming up between the Patchy Pack and Wild Rose Saints for Overwatch University League. Division 1 is our highest division. We have their Grandmaster teams in there. And if this is your first time being here, you can go over to our website, owuniversity.com, as well as our Discord, discord.gg/owuniversity. There you can ask questions, you can find players, find teams, find scrims, find subs, or maybe you want to coach a team or cast a team. You can also go there. We got channels for those respective decisions that you want to do. Whatever you want to do, we got it for you. Now, if you want to watch us again, you can always follow us here, and you can follow us on Twitter at OW University, where we'll be updating when we go live for our streams. Now, let's go into these teams. We got the Patchy Pack and Wild Rose Saints. So, Mukai, tell us a bit about the Patchy Pack's path in the playoffs, and how they got there.
So they were in Division 1 Group C. Division 1, a little smaller division because it was up at the top. Only had 3 divisions. They came in second in their group. They actually lost to Pandemic, and they dropped maps to a few other teams. But in the quarterfinals, they played Pandemic, the team that had beat them during groups, and 3-0 to them. In the semifinals, they played Reformed, by the way, another team that they had played to, dropped a map to in the groups, beat them 3-0. So while they dropped 4 maps in the group phase, they haven't dropped a map since the playoffs started.
That's pretty impressive, that they beat, a team that they lost to. As I love seeing those stories again. They came in as the number 6 seed, and I believe that's actually the... I'd have to double check on that. I don't remember if there was 8 teams in the Division 1 playoffs. Yeah, there were. And so, yeah, they came with the number 6 seed, and so pretty impressive for them. Now, moving over, we have the Division 5 seed in Wild Rose Saints. So, TBG, what did they have? What was their path to the playoffs? And how successful have they been all season?
So Wild Rose Saints is the number 5 seed. Just a little, like, this is going to be a very, if you look at the numbers alone, this is going to be a very competitive match between the two. And if you look at their path, they were also second in their group, not top of the group. So the grand finals are coming down to number 2 versus number 2, who both pushed their way up to the top in the playoffs. They beat the following teams. They beat Skynet Gaming, Core Frostbite, and Undecided 4-0. So they had very strong showings against those teams. However, when they came up against Initio Gaming Red, which is one of the powerhouse teams in Division 1, they got 4-0'd themselves. So they dropped 4 maps all to the same exact team. Then in the playoffs, they went up against the number 2 team from Group A. Their group stage performance was enough to get them into, just again, number 2, so they were able to make it into the playoffs. Then they went 3-1 against Surf Tacos in round 1. They had a rematch against Initio Red, the one that had completely smashed them during the group phase, and they returned the favor going 3-0. So they've had their ups and downs, but they put their demons in their past, and they're ready to take on the Patchy Pack.
All right. Now, Mukai, you did, in fact, get some more information about the Patchy Pack. So tell us a little bit about this team, what we're going to expect from them.
They are a very experienced team. This is actually the second competition that they're playing in simultaneously. They're also in the TESPA Collegiate Series. They are North Carolina State's official team. Right now, they're doing extremely well in TESPA too. They're 9-1. They are second in their group above my beloved Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, so I'll try to forgive them for that. Going into the players, there are 2 that I want to keep a special eye on for the casters. Killshot, their highest SR player, he's at a top 500 level. He's got 7 heroes this season and last with a positive win rate at that level. Extremely flexible. Mains Junkrat can go to McCree, can go to Zen, can go to Roadhog, can go to Tracer, and he probably will go to Tracer if they run a dive. The other person I want to focus on is Squid. He's actually the newest addition to the team, only joined in August, but he's having a white-hot start to Season 7 in comp. He is top 1 percentile on Overbuff at this skill level for eliminations, for damage, for crits, and for Dragon Strikes. He is absolutely going off on Genji. So if you see him on Genji, keep your eye on him. He is probably going to be one of the focuses of their attack.
Yeah, that's great. And I see, they got an average of SR, at least from when they signed up, their season high was, 4,100. So as compared to Grandmaster, they're kind of lower. But, I mean, I don't think that's, tells the story of this team. As you said, they're 9-1, right, in TESPA. So they're doing a great job in the league and outside the league. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how this team is going to succeed further on in these playoffs, in these finals. And Wild Rose Saints, they're an aggressive team as well. They did pretty well, and I believe they're playing some other tournaments, but I don't think I have any information on that. But Tomer to my gnomes, I know that you got a little bit more information than I do about Wild Rose Saints. So let's dive into that team and let's see, what they're going to bring us.
Absolutely. So going back into Wild Rose Saints, they are a relatively young team. They've been around for about a month and a half. So really not much longer than this season of the Overwatch University League has run. So we don't have any past history on their play together. We don't have any history on what are the tournaments that they may have entered, etc. But they do practice very frequently. They're scrimming 4 times a week, which is about right for a team in this level. If you are looking to make gaming a full-time career, that's when you start seeing daily or near-daily scrims. So 4 times a week is pretty strong. They are looking to get their ground here and settle their roots in order to launch into the gaming circuit. So if they have good performance here, if they've learned a lot and are able to stick together, expect to see them in some of the other tournaments around this skill level. Expect to see them in things like the Overguard, the Cow Open, some of the other community-run events. And they feel strong about their knowledge of the current meta and their ability to keep up with it. They prefer a very brawly composition of Rhine, Zarya, and Junkrat. And Rhine, Zarya, and our favorite, Junkrat. So that excels at punching through barrier watch. It gives them a lot of front line capability, which is why they're also going to prefer those close quarters brawl style combat.
Yep, and I do know that they do have a sub that came in. We got Yoji, who's going to be playing Diva. So before they had to take out their Genji player, which I believe was a time for us, and they also swapped out Kevin, who actually Kevin was their Genji player. They swapped out for Dyslexic, and they brought in Yoji here on the Diva. So, I mean, playing with a sub, is kind of, iffy here and there for teams. But Wild Rose Saints, they are going to be going up against the Apache Pack. Is, they're wrong people. They're a really great team. As we talked about Tespa. But let's go into predictions. I know Mushu. I mean, you might have a biased prediction here, but let's go into you. What predictions are you going to bring out in this match?
Well, I don't know what Mushu has as a prediction, but
my
my prediction is that, despite my ACC biases, I'm going to predict Apache Pack to take this one 3-1. I think their greater tournament experience, it's just going to help them here. It's just going to be too much.
Yeah, and Gnomes, what do you think here?
I'm not going to cause any fuss. I got to go with Mukai on this one. Between the performance that we've seen from Apache Pack and Tespa, this own tournament, etc., I think that they play well off of each other, and I think we're going to see them. Let's go 3-0. We got to have some drama. So I'll go 3-0, and that way, if Wild Rose Saints takes the map, I'm wrong.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go against both of you guys. I'm gonna go with Wild Rose Saints, mainly because they lost 4-0 to Initio Gaming Red. Now they played them in the semifinals and won 3-0. So I gotta give them that. They seem to get their stuff together. Being only together for a month and a half can be rough. But if they got the chemistry, chemistry is what wins games at this level. It's not the mechanical skill. They're pretty much all at the same level. It's going to be the chemistry, it's going to glue this team together. And, if they were able to come back, after losing 4-0 against the team they lost to all season, then I think, they're going to do great here. But let's hand this off to our casters. We're going to be going back to Mushu and Labasco. Great to have you back, Mushu.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for having us again, and great predictions on the desk. And no, Pimp, you got to go against the grain. So on the predictions there, but it was always more exciting on that. But Labasco, yeah, do you have any predictions on this as well?
Well, I'm really curious to see what Wild Rose Saints can do with a couple of subs. I really think that just plays into the Apache Pack's hands. So you have to favor the Apache Pack at this point, just from that cohesion and chemistry and the fact that they've been playing so long together. Yeah, you have to give them the edge right now, just going into it from what we're going to see. But of course, once we get in game, everything can change, and Wild Rose Saints can shock us and completely throw this all out of proportion.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be about, can they show that chemistry, and can they vibe on this first matchup? Again, it's going to be Lijiang Tower first on this control map. Then following that will be the hybrid map, the choice of the loser of Lijiang Tower, then Assault or 2CP, Escort, and then Control if we do end up going to that final map 5. But yeah, I mean, looking at this, both teams actually comfortable running the death ball, and we'll see, especially at this SR though, we're definitely expecting them both to be comfortable in running any kind of configuration, but it's more about preferences at this point. Do you think Labasco, do you think Wild Rose Saint, look, they didn't really talk about wanting to play both death ball and dive, those kind of two counteracting compositions here. Do you think that might be a disadvantage for them?
Well, the one thing that can be maybe a disadvantage is the fact that when you look at map choices here, the one thing we did get from the Apache Pack was that they said our university has a diversity requirement, and their way of fulfilling that is taking people to Lijiang Tower as their counter pick every set they can. So they're prepared for Lijiang Tower, but I don't know if they're prepared for Night Garden first, as that's where we're going.
Yeah, that's absolutely, yeah. That was definitely one of the more entertaining responses that we got there in their player profile. So definitely at least winning the game for personality here on the team. But they definitely having a lot of fun. But again, it was talked about by our analyst here, the Apache Pack in the TESPA tournament. So I mean, that's definitely all that experience there, playing against the top teams and top colleges from around the nation. Definitely will be really, really good, because you're screaming against some really great talent and people that are, again, I mean, let's face it, at a college level, they may not be at the pro scene, but they're definitely going to be focusing on where their strengths are. And that's definitely what you want to see in a scrim partner. You want to have someone that when you're playing against them, they're going to be bringing out the best in whatever they're trying to run for their win conditions.
And both teams coming out here in just a second. Patchy Pack will be in the blue, and in the red will be the Wild Rose Saints as the doors open on Night Garden here on Lijiang Tower. Looking at it here, you've got a Fair on one side and Demo God for Wild Rose Saints as he delivers out some early rockets here. And you have the Genji and McCree combo on the other side for the Patchy Pack as they move towards the point. But waiting for them there is Wild Rose Saints, and Yoji will get the first pick on Amiibo. And Yoji with another pick onto the Seeker, and Dyslexic will finish it off. Still early advantage to the Wild Rose Saints, throwing everything that the analyst said out the window for the start.
Yeah, interesting that we're not seeing either team here bring out the Junkrat, which they indicated on both of their preferences. Seeing here that they're rather rely on their flanking DPS here. Squid on the Genji and Dyslexic on the on that Tracer. So again, Team Wild Rose Saints not getting position on that early push here. So we'll see if the Patchy Pack can fight back.
And they're really controlling things here early on for Wild Rose Saints. And as I say that, Squid with the dash in gets a kill as his team moves forward. Jolly rezzing Meebo, who got taken out early again. Demo God kill shot using the Deadeye to get another one here. As forcing their way onto the point is the Patchy Pack, looking to flip, but the stall coming out here. Cyril will use the Zenyatta ult to keep his team alive as they move their way onto the point. You have the Mercy ults used on either side. Diva Bomb dropped here, and the Seeker doesn't get anything with it as it tries to clear the point. About 75% of the way on flipping the point for the Patchy Pack, but they're kind of getting spread out here as the rocket barrage from Demo God comes out and clears one off before he's taken down. This fight's starting to go back in the favor maybe of Wild Rose.
The Wild Rose Saints doing such a good job of using their ultimates to hold on to this point here. The Patchy Pack now, this could be the self-destruct that Wild Rose Saints wanted. This could push them off the point here so they can't even cap anymore. But Seeker still staying alive pretty long here on that mini diva, but surely will go down off the edge here unless they leave him. I'll leave her on her own. But it's going to be Wild Rose Saints still stabilizing here. All those ultimates used by Patchy Pack to try to take the point, but Wild Rose Saints use them in reply, and they will hold on to it.
The Seeker going and waiting to jump off the edge actually staggers the team out a bit here, and it's already to 89%, so the Seeker's going to have to hurry back in on the Diva, and right now, the kills coming in on the side of Wild Rose. 3 in a row. Jolly will have to res kill shots. Squid using the Dragon Blade to try and swing things back into the favor of the Patchy Pack. Gets 2 kills as they storm onto the point, but it looks like it might not be enough as Wild Rose tries to clean up what's left. Meebo with the stall, using the Winston Primal Rage, and coming back in to keep him up is Left Circle as they come back onto the point and will get the chance to flip this here, but it's to 99%. They're going to have to try and keep it on the point for as long as possible. It'll be overtime once it flips back.
Yeah, they got to be really careful. They got to win every single fight coming out from this. But again, now the ultimates have reset. Killshot holding on to that Deadeye. If they can make the space for here, burn down that Winston shield, there will be nothing standing in the way if they can keep the Diva occupied off of the side. So it's going to be key here. You got to watch for Yoji to use the defense matrix and watch and keep an eye on this Deadeye, on this kill shot. It will take out Demo God, opening up here and going to be popping the Deadeye. What can he find here? No, everyone around the corner here. But now it is just absolute chaos as now Wild Rose Saints are just getting all of the kills in their favor here. Just dodging it out, that Deadeye from around the corner and drawing the team out off of the point here. It looks like they might be able to take it back.
Looks like that might be the case as the Transcendence used to keep the team up. The Seeker, the only one alive again. And the Seeker quickly taken out to flip that point back. Overtime ticker and Riz used to keep Squid up as Left Circle in there as well on the Lucio. Dragon Blade used, but quickly taken out with Squid as the kills come in. Left Circle able to get a boot kill. Dyslexic, though, with the Pulse Bomb to get kill shot as they look to just clean up the point here and maybe take point number 1 as it finally ticks off. And the Wild Rose Saints take it on the Night Gardens.
Great first map there from the Wild Rose Saints. I mean, coming out in commanding fashion, and it was always about, and we saw this in our last matchup again as well from the previous one from our Division 4 finals, it's about fighting from the point, right? Getting position on it and fighting from a place where you have an advantage, because if you win out there, you get the capture. And that's exactly what we saw. The same story here. Wild Rose Saints holding on to that point. Again, we saw Patchy Pack come in, did a really good job with those ultimates early on, but they were counteracted very quickly while Wild Rose Saints using their own ultimates. The only fact is that Patchy Pack using those ultimates, they're trying to contest, whereas Wild Rose Saints are still getting capture percentage in that time. So I'm going to look for Patchy Pack to, get control early on, but if they can't, to be very efficient with their ultimates and taking it back.
We're going to see a little bit of a switch here. Junkrats on either side. So a battle of the spam from the Junkrats here, trying to take down those Reinhardt shields as the fire strikes being thrown on either side from the Reinhardt, slowly working their way towards the point. Are both teams. Patchy Pack getting onto it first. Fire strike sent in for Meeble, moves forward. The Seeker getting the kill with the left click. And that'll allow for a big triple kill from Killshot with the tire, and his team cleans up the rest of it. The Seeker getting the Mercy before she could res anyone and having to regroup, and it's going to be tough sledding.
Let's go ahead and check out that giant replay. They had already captured the point on the backside of this, but Killshot going in with the Riptire, finding his way around the back and just getting a 3K. They didn't even need that to take the point as they already captured it, but now they're very, very much in the driver's seat.
Demograd around the left side trying to get some kills, but he gets booped off. He did get somebody in his trap, but it didn't matter as the kills went onto the side of the Patchy Pack. They're up to 32% already, and the Wild Rose Saints just trying to get out of their spawn right now. Great hold here at the choke point so far from the Patchy Pack.
We're looking at Demogod. He's going to be popping that Riptire from around the corner. What can he find? No, it gets taken out from his counterpart. Killshot here as we do see Wild Rose Saints starting to move in, but no, there's going to be a Graviton Surge on the side of the Patchy Pack. What can they find here? They can't even get out of their spawn, even as you were saying before. They've been trying so hard, but this entire last 2 minutes or so, they've been on their side of the map, as Dyslexic will even bring out that Deadeye, and will surely seal the deal.
And that, might have been a too aggressive of a play from the Patchy Pack. They're backing up, trying to wait for those respawns to come in, but that will allow the Wild Rose Saints to get back onto the point. Meter building up, they just about capture it. The Valkyrie ult out, big Earth Shatters come on either side, but doesn't get anything, as now the follow-up on the Graviton Surge, trying to at least where the Wild Rose Saints
Really
get a couple of kills here.
Yeah, really fancy footwork by the Genji. That's going to be Squid and the Mercy contesting still there, and that's why you see that's only a little bit of capture point percentage left for the Patchy Pack, but eventually it should flip here for the Wild Rose Saints, who finally are on the board.
Have the ultimates used by both Mercies as well. 2 ults on the side of the Patchy Pack here. They do have that Riptire, and Killshot was really effective with it earlier, and he might need to use it in order to get them out of the spawn. Good use of the Graviton Surge onto the wall. That'll catch 2. The Riptire comes out, does find 1 for Demogod, and the Riptire for Killshot gets taken out by the Fire Strike. And that'll keep things for the Patchy Pack here, even though you have moving forward with small numbers, or sorry, for the Patchy Pack will get the flip here after that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the combination try to come out from Patchy Pack. Fortunately, they were still able to capture that point, but that combination was foiled as the Riptire from the side of Killshot was taken out very early on, but it didn't matter. Patchy Pack, the rest of the team, doing quite well to get into the point, but now we see the Transcendence from the Wild Rose Saints trying to move their way back onto the point as they do get on in time for overtime. That's going to be a big Earth Shatter here coming out from Keith, trying to clear out the point, and he will do so. Dyslexic, again, another big Deadeye from the back. We'll take out 3. That's going to be 5 kills on notches on his belt for the Deadeye kills.
So up to 99% though is the side of Patchy Pack as we go back to that big Deadeye from Dyslexic, and you had the Earth Shatter in there as well that ended up clearing the way to allow for that, as controlling the point now and trying to keep this ahead is the Wild Rose. Use the Graviton Surge, grab a couple, respond with the Meebo Earth Shatter. Doesn't get a whole lot, but Squid able to find 1 as he's already up to 51% for his next Dragon Blade. His team getting some kills. Killshot getting the Tracer down and charging towards the back line is Squid, and a big double kill from Killshot again. Another good tire in the Graviton Surge to clean it up by the Seeker as the overtime ticker counts away, and we're even 1-1 as the Patchy Pack here take this point.
Patchy Pack finally coming to life here on this map too. They lost again, of course, map 1 pretty convincingly, but now showing their strength with the Junkrat, able to chain together those ultimates really well. Aside of Wild Rose Saints, they are trying to do their own work with the Graviton Surge and just the combinations in general. But they're such a clutch sound barrier from left circle, keeping everyone alive there. And of course, the projected barrier as well from the side of Patchy Pack. So we are now in a best of 1 situation. We are here on Garden. Who's going to bring out the Pharah?
See Demo God on it, and Squid, I think, too, on the Genji was a big difference there. A lot more effective on City Center, but now we'll see how that changes on Garden, where you do have the Pharah, and up into the sky, looking for an opportunity. Here is Demo God as he delivers on some rockets onto the bridge, tries to get somebody off the edge, doesn't work, continues to put in the damage, as he will find one eventually. Squid, though, on the other side, throwing his Ninja Stars in, trying to help even things out, but Yoji getting 2 kills here for the side of Wild Rose Saints as they take the early lead and look to move on to the point with just Squid alive as he uses his Reflect to try and get away, but he can't do it.
Yep, that is going to be the power of Pharah there. You win the ground war, you stay even on the ground war. That Demo God bringing in the rockets from above will tilt the match in your favor here. So Patchy Pack, see how they decide to answer these rockets, which continue to deal damage. They're just trying to get position onto the point. And they can't even get there without taking some rockets to the face.
So now the fight going to happen in a disadvantaged place for the Patchy Pack, especially with that Pharah in the air. Have to be careful not to get hit off. Having to use his jump just to stay on was Mevo. He almost fell off the map from that attempt. Keith, though, getting 2 kills, 3 kills here as he's just following up on the damage that's being dealt by the Pharah, and Demo God cleaning up with them as well. As those two combine together, the Tesla Cannon and the rockets from Pharah, to get another wipe here for Wild Rose Saints.
Look how far up Keith was pushed there. He was up there where none of the team was, but they already put in so much damage, and they just said, Keith, you know, go ahead and clean up the rest of the kills there. You can just get that 4K in the kill feed. Here is even again Seru finding the orb kill onto Killshot, and they have to use a critical res here before even the fight has started.
So they decide to use the Valkyrie out in response to having to use that early res to give them back. Demo God with 2 kills here early on. Dyslexic following up. Rocket Barrage will get another, as this is another fight going in favor of Wild Rose. They're up to 70%. Just have the Mercy here that's left, and the Baby Diva able to get away thanks to the Valkyrie ult was Jolly.
Patchy Pack need to regroup here. They need to have some kind of strategy, but they do have 2 big ultimates. They have the Deadeye, and they have the Dragon Blade from the Genji. They just need to get them onto the point, and they are very smartly rotating out on this left side here so they can fight from the point. They need to bring in Wild Rose Saints into tight corridors, and they are successfully doing it right now. See if they can execute.
Fight onto the point, starting up as the Valkyrie ult used from Toriel still have a defensive ult from Zero if needed. Dyslexic finding one. Killshot gets 1 with the Deadeye, just gets Yoji out of the mech, so that's something big here. But in comes the Dragon Blade from Squid. Does get 1, tries to find another, has to use the Reflect though, and gets a little bit of help there to get another kill. But Keith doing work as well, keeping things for the Wild Rose. Big Pulse Bomb will at least force the Diva ult out as the kills continue to come in on the side of the Wild Rose Saints. Still have that Valkyrie ult though here, keeping players alive for the side of the Patchy Pack as they're trying to get this flipped.
We'll see here. Patchy Pack starting to get the numbers on the point, though. They've put in everything that they've got, but they just got to take care of Dyslexic, who is on the point here, just dashing around, being such a nuisance there. But finally, Squid finds the rocket, and looks like they're bringing the rockets themselves, and they'll be the answer that they needed to flip this point.
Finally get that final kill on to Demo God, who goes down and allows for the flip to happen, but they just need to have 1 take here, Mushu, and they can take this and take map number 1.
Yep, and it's pretty scary, and Yoji holding on to that self-destruct, and they're in a very tight corridor. There are a lot of angles you can hold to prevent yourself from taking damage there, but if you're not paying attention, that could definitely sneak up behind you.
And not worried about going over the bridge because of no pressure from the Pharah. They come right across and in towards the point, throw a self-destruct on, and it does get Nebo. So the follow-up coming too from Dyslexic gets the Pulse Bomb onto Seeker to take him out of mech as they look to continue on really late. Ult from left circle to try and keep his team alive on the point as they're looking for the follow-ups here. Meebo using the Primal Rage to stall out for his team. Patchy Pack building up to 40%, but they're starting to lose out on the numbers. Meebo's still on the point, though, with that Primal Rage, has to jump out and bubbles in, trying to deal the damage onto Yoji. Seeker able to get back there, but it's just a matter of eliminating everybody they can, as almost everyone on fire on the side of Wild Rose Saints.
Patchy doing such a good job staggering here, but they are just losing numbers one by one. They need the reinforcements and need reinforcements fast, but that's going to be Squid coming out with the Rocket Barrage taking 2, and then we'll see. This looks like it could be Patchy Pack. They're starting to get the numbers left, but they got to dodge out on that self-destruct, and looks like they will do so, as this is just completely drawn up. But this entire time, Patchy Pack has been adding capture percentage.
The overtime meter is in. Not many players here to try and keep it alive for Patchy Pack, and they're going to have to be careful, as Demo God will get 1 kill and continue with another, as that overtime meter starting to tick down. But Jolly just able to get back, gets the res onto Killshot to keep it going.
Killshot
Zero getting 1 kill.
Yeah, Killshot and Meebo, they got to do their best to stay alive as much as possible, but Patchy Pack just trying to stay alive, whereas Wild Rose Saints are looking to win it, and they do take map number 1 in a close 2-1, as it was ticking down there to be pretty much almost the same capture percentage there, but really great play. Patchy Pack was always on the back foot, though, on that last map.
The McCree ult here off of the Earth Shatter that gives the triple kill to Dyslexic, and his team following up afterwards as well, allowing them to take that point. Wild Rose Saints, of course, didn't end up getting that one, but they do get that 2-1, like you said. And I think you have to be happy compared to what we heard from the analysts. We had both Gnomes and Mookie thinking maybe 3-0 or 3-1. This is some really good stuff we've seen from Wild Rose Saints here on Lijiang Tower.
What was so interesting is that it was always about whether a team could take that first map, and I believe everyone who took the first control ended up winning that map. Or we saw Wild Rose Saint take control of map 1 and 3 in Lijiang Tower. They won both of those. Patchy Pack took control of map 2 first in that control tower, and they won that one. So it's always about, once you're in that situation where you're in a position of power, your ultimates are either used to maintain control or to try to fight it. And what we're seeing here, because they're so evenly matched, is trying to fight for the point and clear it off is very, very difficult for both of these teams. So whoever takes that first is going to have the huge advantage.
And we're seeing a sub is going to happen here as well for Wild Rose Saints. Time for Us is going to be coming back in. So you have the sub out happen there. And really, for Wild Rose Saints, that's one of the players that they'd probably rather have in anyways. So they get their sub in, who is somebody who we were actually expecting to start. That's something that you can only say goes in favor of them, that they have somebody that they're more comfortable with getting in here.
Absolutely. And it looks like it's going to be, for our next map, we're looking for a hybrid pick, and believe the pick now is in. It will be King's Row. We're just deciding next who's going to be attacking and defending first. But what a crazy, I mean, just a blistering pace there for the first games in the Lijiang Tower. So much chaos there. And especially at the end, where Patchy Pack was continuing to be able to stall until the point, but they weren't ever able to flip it. It was almost like they were just trying the entire time to stay alive, whereas Wild Rose Saints was more about, how can we win this, right?
Yeah, the one thing, though, that we know about Patchy Pack, Mushu, is they're a team that has a lot of experience. So this is something that doesn't have to be a setback for them. Sure, they lost map
Absolutely.
number 1, right? But this is not a position that they haven't been in before. So now it's, how do you counter what you saw? Time for Us does throw a little bit of a wrench into things, because you haven't seen him play yet against you, but still, you know what you saw from everybody else, what to expect. So how do you attack here?
Yeah, and gotta wonder sometimes too, when you do have that sub, you definitely want to make sure that it doesn't ruin your flow, right? Like when you're winning, like Wild Rose Saints won in that last map, you're hoping you're not disturbing that team chemistry here, but they, were very intentional about it. As soon as we came back into the lobby, called for that sub, because they know that how they want to play the hybrid map. And so we definitely be looking to see how Time for Us plays into this team composition.
The one thing I'm curious to see as well is, we saw you have, when you're the winner of the map, you get to pick attack or defense. We see Wild Rose Saints, they've decided to attack first. Normally you see teams, they usually want to defend first, see what they have to try and beat as a time. They're going for the attack first, and that is always something to take a look at and see what happens.
Yeah, especially if you feel like you can set the pace and just really steamroll the other team. I mean, it can do a lot to your mentality if on the opposite side you just lost a really close match, and then you get a really good time gets set against you on this hybrid map. That could really do a lot for the mentality. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, Wild Rose Saints, definitely it's going to be on them if they win this. If they win really hard here in terms of this first push, it's going to be on them to kind of maintain that pace. But again, if Patchy Pack gives them a lot of fight here in this first push, then that could definitely be something where the momentum goes against them.
Curious what we will see from them here, but let's first take a look at what we're seeing defensively for the side of the Patchy Pack. They've got Squid and Killshot as their DPS with the Junkrat and the Soldier 76. Good map for Soldier 76 here, Mushu.
That's right, especially on the defense. See how Killshot, he's positioned all the way in the back corner, so want to make sure that he has the upper ground and the high ground to get that damage down, farm up for that tactical visor. You see already Wild Rose Saints going to be working the way around this statue to try to get closer to the point.
And time for us on the Widow, looking for an early pick, looking to stay on it. Toriel will get an early kill here, and time for us applying pressure from up top, just waiting for a chance to put a left click on ahead. Just waiting around the corner, throwing in some shots onto the Reinhardt and the Reinhardt shield. His team building percentage. They've already got one tick, forced off the point for a second. Was time for us, but back onto the high ground, and his team just doing work down low as they're clearing up, as the team was trying to take care of the Widowmaker, and that allows for the rest of Wild Rose Saints clean up. Meba, the only one here left, gets taken out, and now Wild Rose Saints fairly quickly taking point number 1, and now we'll push the payload.
As soon as Squid was not able to find the kill in the time for us, he went super deep and super hard for that Widowmaker and was not able to find the kill. And that's not where you want Squid to be putting the damage. As the Junkrat, you want to be winning the shield game on the ground, but having to use that many resources and that much time to try to take out the Widowmaker, unfortunately, was the folly of their team and on that first defense from the side of Patchy Pack.
And still in a good position. It's time for us. Has to back away now. Saw all the spam coming in and does effectively get away, and now looks to go around in position to maybe try and surprise this side of Patchy Pack, but they were ready for it. But time for us will still get Squid out of it, so Squid having to be rezzed here, but the early pick gives that advantage as far as the Mercy rezzes. Squid will find a kill of his own onto Keith. As the point not moving here, the payload has stalled, as backing up was the side of Wild Rose Saints.
You know, losing Keith there was pretty big because, again, you want to move in when you know you can have the advantage, but losing Keith there with that Earthshatter ready to go and against another Earthshatter that they pretty much know is going to be on the side of the Patchy Pack, you don't want to stall it for any longer than you really need to. So very smartly, Wild Rose Saints pulling back and getting ready to fight again with their Reinhardt up in the front.
And time for us has switched from that Widowmaker on to the McCree, so now a little bit of a different look here. See what he can do on this McCree moving forward, dealing some damage in. The Graviton Surges come out from either side. One kill. Rez is coming in from Cero. Squid will get Cero, but not after the Rezes come in. Charged by either Reinhardt and the Patchy Pack. Able to get some kills here. Stop the payload, but it does move a little bit as the cleanup comes in. Dyslexic used his ult from behind, but there really wasn't any follow-up. He does get a couple of kills, but it's not going to matter as the Earth Shatter there to take out the Zarya. Maybe a little overzealous with that one, as there was only one player to take care of.
Yeah, probably didn't need to use that Earth Shatter, but if it gives your team the confidence that you're going to close out that push, then it can be, worth it. He can work his way up to the Earth Shatter, and they know it's gone from the side of Wild Rose Saints, but he is going to be ahead on that as well. So Patchy Pack going to need to really hunker down and make sure that they're being very efficient with their ultimates in the future and farm it up as well. The kill shot definitely had to actually highlight Dyslexic. Did a really good job with the tactical visor in the back line, but unfortunately it was a little bit too late. The rest of the team was already dead, even though he got a 3K with the tactical visor.
Valkyrie ult used by Jolly here, pushing forward. Time for us now on the Doomfist almost taken out. Dyslexic, the one who goes down instead, but the cart is moving for the Wild Rose Saints. They continue to move it, and now they start to get the kills finally, as time for us getting in there along with Yoji, finding a lot of opportunities to deal the damage in. Just Jolly and the Zarya and the Seeker left as they farm them and get this second point here.
Squid had a really good flank. He did take out Dyslexic, but again, it was nullified because of the res from the side of Patchy, from the side of Wild Rose Saints as they're pushing in. And so, really, this Streets phase of King's Row just takes so much power away from flankers if you can't make kills that will have an impact. And again, that res undoes everything you try to do. And when you have a Genji straight in front of you, you know exactly where he is. Doesn't do very much against the shield of a Reinhardt.
Have the Graviton Surge thrown in here, have the counter from the Earth Shatter, didn't get anybody, as the Earth Shatter missed on either side, but the Patchy Pack cleaning up here. Time First does manage to find two, but the rest of his team not alive.
Yeah, bringing out the Doomfist, very interesting here, and we do see he has that Meteor Strike ready to go. Looks like we could get some Space Jam up in here from the side of Wild Rose Saints. Again, that's going to be that Graviton and Meteor Strike combination. So we'll see if they can work their way into a position where it is effective. Again, so important to get the Mercy in the middle, because otherwise it just makes sure your ultimate for not, you're using two ultimates for one Valkyrie, that could be very ineffective here. So Wild Rose Saints have to be very smart as they engage.
And the one thing they have to worry about is just to deflect. That's it, and they can get this off. There goes the one ultimate Meteor Strike used. And it'll only get one. It will get the Mercy, though, and that's the big kill. And that'll allow for the follow-up from Dyslexic. Meeble putting the shield to try and keep damage going, but he finally gets taken out as they continue to storm forward. One left in the Zarya, and the high-charge Zarya and the Seeker taken out as they move this payload around that last corner to push towards the end of the map.
Man, if your Space Jam only gets one kill, let it be the Mercy, and that's exactly what happened there for Wild Rose Saints. Is only now the Valkyrie coming out here, but maybe on that front line, it's just going to be all on his lonesome here. As we do hear the Dragon Blade coming out as well, so Patchy Pack being very desperate, throwing so much on this wall, even Killshot getting that 2K, but surely already that was going to be a hold as they're throwing everything at them, and now both sides left with one ultimate. We seem to have reset, but still 1 minute 40 seconds. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out that replay. This is Junkrat sneaking around. I mean, Patchy Pack had thrown so many ultimates into this already, and Killshot just staggering the rest of the team here, getting that 2K as Wild Rose Saints was trying to retreat.
The big thing is here now you have a Shatter and you have Graviton. Both of these ults can change things around. Graviton Surge used by the Patchy Pack does get a lot, but no follow-up onto it. Now the Earth Shatter on the side of Keith, and he gets 2 kills out of it. Counter Earth Shatter on the other side by Meebo, but he gets taken out. They didn't have any follow-up behind him, and now moving forward to try and push this cart the rest of the way is Wild Rose Saints, but there's going to be time for the respawns to come back in before this cart gets here. Jumping onto the point is Killshot. He gets taken down as Wild Rose Saints trying to finish this one out. Jolly with the res, but gets farmed here. And now in comes the Zarya ult on the left side of the payload, but not much follow-up onto it as the Patchy Pack able to clear out most of the team. The respawn's just too much to try and get through for Wild Rose Saints, and they've got 35 seconds.
And not just the respawn, Squid coming in, farming up the last percentages there from the Dragon Blade. So clutch there, even though he was caught up in the Graviton Surge and did go down eventually, took down 2 with him and dealt so much damage there. The rest of the Patchy Pack able to clean up here. One last shot for the Wild Rose Saints as they're moving her in this last corner.
Speaking of the Dragon Blades, time for us might get it in this last fight as he's at 90% right now. Tactical Visor also available for the side of Wild Rose Saints. Haven't gotten onto the point yet, gets to 3 seconds now. And now time for us will go down and touch the point here. Overtime is in, Dragon Blade used. Killshot does get Sero though, and Squid following up with a quick kill as well. Killshot with another big kill here. There's not much left here for Wild Rose Saints, and they're gonna stop short of this push.
That last attack will come back to haunt them most likely because they're so close to point 3. But if you look at that scoreboard, that will be a 2-0 lead. Again, of course, they're off serve here. They'll be defending on this next push here. But I mean, so crazy there. We saw again. Got to give it to Squid for holding on to that Dragon Blade and farming it up. into the very last second when it really mattered most, as they were able to hold that. Without that Dragon Blade, don't think the Patchy Pack would have had what it would have taken to hold that defense there. And all Patchy Pack have to do now is get 3 points here. They just got to finish the map and they will win it. Again, I'm saying all they have to do is that. Definitely a gargantuan task against the Wild Rose Saints, who have been so strong in these the first map and again on that first attack. Yeah, Labosco, I mean, how do you think this is going to go?
Well, the thing is even though that they've looked good for Wild Rose Saints, it hasn't been easy. Give the Patchy Pack a lot of credit. I mean, we had a 2-1 for Lijiang Tower, and now you don't even get to the third point. So for the Patchy Pack, I think they're probably feeling really good about this right now, that they were able to stop them short and now have a chance to win this map outright here without having to go and try and push the payload a second time. So for the Patchy Pack, I think this is exactly where you want to be. And for Wild Rose Saints, you still have a chance. It's still a very hard thing to do to get around that final corner.
Absolutely. And so we'll see Patchy Pack on the attack here. Again, we talked about before, for Wild Rose Saints to be picking into attack, that can be big risk, big reward. You set a really good pace, you finish the map, you put the team into the corner, but now that they haven't finished the map at all, now Patchy Pack, if they come out here and get to the third point, it would be really, really big for the momentum, and we'll go back to 1-1 in the map. But guys, we are already getting started here. It's going to be Patchy Pack on the blue side on the attack here. Wild Rose Saints defending in red.
Squid just threw out the Sonic Arrow and then switched quickly to the Soldier 76, and that will deliver damage from down low as both teams meet here at the choke, working their way around and up go the Patchy Pack. As staying on the point and on the low ground is the majority of the team for Wild Rose Saints. Up high now, whole team over onto the high ground on the other side as they go through the connectors. They look to maybe try and get down onto the point here in a second, but you have Time for Us, who's on the Roadhog now, trying to come around and look for a pick.
That's right, and they're feeding so much charge into the Yoji, who is keeping right up there in terms of ultimate charge with the Reinhardt. That's not something you really see. It's so hard to charge the ultimate charge for Zarya. You have to be both absorbing the damage and dealing damage in order for that to work out. So this Junkrat could be working against them for the side of Patchy Pack, as they aren't even able to get onto the point, and they're just getting caught out on this side, on this flank here.
Time for Us got caught in the corner, did get rezzed, and now his team falling because of it, because they had to extend a little bit too much. Time for Us still alive. As there, the Earth Shatter does get one from Meebo. He takes out Dyslexic as they try and continue to eliminate the rest of Wild Rose Saints. Patchy Pack trying to take this point, and they do it fairly quick.
Yeah, Patchy Pack, it looked pretty grim for them there as they were split up, and they looked like they're getting picked off there. But Wild Rose Saints, in trying to chase those kills, got separated out. And again, now that they have they got some of those key ultimates first, and they're able to convert what looked like a lost fight to an actual victory on that first point. So far so good here for the Patchy Pack.
See how they continue here on down through the streets phase. They've pushed ahead of the cart as they have one on there in their loose. Try to get that cart through that first little choke. As Killshot will get the kill onto Yoji, who just used the Graviton Surge. Didn't allow for too much follow-up. Keith now with the Earth Shatter gets one. Dyslexic following up afterwards. Graviton Surge not going to matter much here as they have to try and retreat. Only one left alive is the Soldier in Squid. So a bit of a stagger, but not as much as they would like.
Both teams there, I mean, it just shows how evenly matched this is. They're foiling each other's ultimates there. So Yoji come in with a great Graviton Surge, but getting killed right away by Killshot's Riptire. And then the Earth Shatter from Meebe. I believe that came out as well, and then it got foiled from the side of Wild Rose Saints here. So what was an ultimate advantage for Wild Rose Saints on the defense now is a disadvantage. Patchy Pack packing two ultimates. We'll see how they take it here through the streets phase.
So coming up as they push the cart around the first corner here, Wild Rose is backed off around the second corner as they now come around and try to deal some damage onto Meebe's shield. Squid from up top dealing the damage in, pulls away as the Junkrat mine thrown out, doesn't get anything. Fight continuing on here. This is just both teams building up ults here. Then you have the Earth Shatter used, doesn't really get anything, but charging in off of it. This maybe kill shot will get Dyslexic down, but chance to res him here by Zero if he decides to. Valkyrie ults on either side will extend this fight out. On top of the payload, not moving here. 250 left to go, and you're seeing the kill screen go red for a moment, but Jolly, having those 2 charges, uses them to keep the Patchy Pack in this fight.
Really great defense here. Wild Rose Saints holding strong in the front line behind their main man, Keith, there with the shield. They're not able to break this shield as quickly as they want, and that means that Yoji can do so much work on this backline, also protecting Siru and Toriel there on the Ana and the Mercy, respectively. And Keith, again, now ahead of the game here with the Earth Shatter, has that already, whereas Mibi on the side of Patchy Pack, we're going to have to work up to farm that Earth Shatter. So they got to be careful here on this next attack. It could be another foiled attack attempt. They walk right into the face of this Earth Shatter.
And that's the thing to look out for here, is that Earth Shatter. What Keith decides to use it. Of course, you'll have the mind games between the Reinhardts. He uses it, but a good block of it by Mibi will keep his team from having anybody get hit by it. And Keith charging in from behind. He gets taken down by Squid, who is now on the Reaper. And the Patchy Pack with a chance here to move up ahead and try and get this card around to this next corner. And to the point, having the Graviton Surge used, catches both of the supports and a tank, but not much follow-up, as it was a good use of the Lucio ult to keep everybody alive for the Patchy Pack. Whole hog used for time for us. Can't get a whole lot out of it, as the Patchy Pack will keep moving this one forward. Keith getting charged into by Meebo, and Squid behind him, dealing the damage on, forcing the Wild Rose Saints back. And this is just about a capture here for Patchy Pack onto the next point, and they'll have a bit of time here to try and win map number 2.
A little bit nervous there. Wild Rose Saints, again, after that foiled Earth Shatter, they still continued to commit. They'd already put the nano boost onto the Dyslexic, who was using the attack visor at the time, and then it just pulled the team apart again, and Patchy Pack was able to hold strong, use their ultimates and their advantage, and able to turn the tide there. But Wild Rose Saints definitely opting into that battle there, and just throwing all the good money after the bad. So we'll see here, Jolly uses that Valkyrie as they're working away there around this corner, as Keith is just trying to farm back up very close to that Earth Shatter. But again, on the side of Mibi, looking for the Earth Shatter here. Next time he puts that shield down, you can look for a big shatter, as that will do that Ryan is out of the way, so no shield isn't going to be in the way. He already goes to this back line. He's going to be charging all the way back, and now it is just Dyslexic against a shield and the projected barrier here, as Patchy Pack look to finish this.
Yeah, it might not be enough time trying to come back in. Is Keith, he gets held up by a Graviton for it to be captured, and the Patchy Pack tie this up 1-1, 3-2, they take that.
What a crazy finish to that map there. And it all started because of the team following up with the Earth Shatter that missed. Check out this play the game from Dyslexic. This is going to be that attack visor that came up at the end of one of those defenses here from the side of Wild Rose Saints. But again, this is when they actually had that like 5 ultimate to 2 advantage, and they just decided to use everything there. So what was a really good ultimate economy that we saw from Wild Rose Saint there in the map 1 in Lijiang Tower, now they seemed a little bit too trigger happy in using those ultimates and not thinking about what happens after step 1. Step 1, land a good Earth Shatter. They're already on step 2 and 3,
Right.
which is nano boost the soldier, right? And you got to be watching out for that and got to be adjusting for that.
Yeah, and they just continued on, use those ults. I mean, we saw that late shatter too that wasn't needed to take out Azaria, and then it kind of just Patchy Pack after that sort of pushed things on. We're going to take a bit of a timeout though, but when we come back, we're going to have map 3 here. It's going to be a pick on the side of Wild Rose Saints. Things are even 1-1 though. After these first 2 maps, we look forward to the exciting map number 3.
And that's the Graviton Surge coming down, instantly comboed in with Demu's
Oh,
lovely
man.
ult. That's 4 kills instantly traded on.
Oh, immediately into a huge
Wow.
player barrage off of Tamiko. That was a hell of a play. Back to back.
Widow now, he's doing it all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh my God!
That's
Talking
going to be the
about
point A
fucking
take.
That is a 3rd kill on Widow. That's gonna wrap that up.
Also have the ult from Mythbustman. And here a very big ult from Zerglin with the combo with Pokecraft as he throws the Tracer Bomb in, and that wipes everybody.
We've got another 2-2-2 based on Pharmacy coming out from Cloud Riders. And
Well, it's a
immediate success pick.
2-2-1 after that pick.
This overtime, if they leave for just half a second, this is going to be game over for them. That's going to be a self-destruct coming down. However, 3 kills to finish the map. My goodness. We're still trading quite even, but Dashi is going to get 2. He gets 3. 2 headshots in a row, and that could signal that this point is taken.
The boops are real.
Welcome back to twitch.tv/OW University. I'm Pimp of the Crib, and with me again is Torment of My Gnomes and Mukai Kubo. Great series we got going from our Division 1 games between Wild Rose Saints and the Patchy Pack. Before we dive in there, I do want to remind everyone that if this is your first time watching, you can go to owuniversity.com, learn more about the league, as well as our Discord, discord.gg/OWUniversity, where you can come in there, ask questions, find players, find teams, find scrims, and find subs. We got it all there, and if you want to be a caster or a coach, you can also come there. We have some channels where you can request for one or request to be one, so please stop by the Discord. It has all the information you need. And if you want to watch more Overwatch University League, you can follow us here on Twitch and on Twitter, where you'll get updates of when we go live. Now, I did mention that there will be a giveaway, so I want everyone to, get ready at their keyboards. You'll be typing in these codes that we're going to have. It's another $20 Blizzard cash code, so make sure you're on that battle.net website and you're logged in and ready to type in and redeem this code. The code is going to be going live now. There we go. So good luck to whoever wins that. Now let's go back into the series here. We have a tied series 1-1. We had Wild Rose Saints taking that first map. And tell us, Gnomes, what did Wild Rose Saints do right in that map?
Well, I have a long list of things that Mukai Kubo and I have been talking about. And the first item on the list is Demogod, whose impact on the game can't be understated. But one of the other things that we really broke down was that Patchy Pack is another team that seems to do better in close quarters combat. And on the very first map, Night Garden, wide open space. They had a lot of struggle getting their dive in. Every single time they dove in, Meeb just got focused down and melted. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. So they really struggled with that. But then you look at a map like Control, where they switched to Reinhardt and used Lucio to gain positional advantage, plus Junkrat to do massive damage in those close quarters. And they had a lot better of an ability to deal with that in that situation. Unfortunately, when it went back to Night Market, it was more of those wide open spaces. They just kept getting deleted on their dives. There were some questionable plays. Map didn't go their way. The last thing that Mukai and I were talking about was King's Row, where we saw a lot of other changes and swaps come out. Why don't you start us off with that, Mukai?
So the thing on King's Row, Wild Rose Saints, they persistently kept on focusing too near in the future. So what I mean is, on the first point, they went with a triple tank, right out of a few seasons ago meta. Lots of self-sustain. They were gambling on their ability to full hold because they were hoping that Patchy Pack's low time to kill and their own high self-sustain will let them hold that first point. Okay, fine. That was a reasonable gamble, didn't work. After that, consistently, they kept on burning as many ults as they could just to stop pushes. And what it looked like to me is that they were perpetually caught in the idea of, we have to hold this next thing or we're done, so throw all of our resources at it. And they just kept throwing ults, throwing ults, throwing ults. And eventually they just ran out. And, by the end, the Earth Shatter at the end there, they had nothing left to stop it.
Yeah, for me, and I learned this a lot of times from just sports in general, or like other esports, especially certain games that I've played, where if you're, especially the championship, if you're winning in the championship, then you don't change things. So you saw Demo God get swapped out for Time for Us, and Time for Us making a lot of swaps, all during the map, dropping alt charge and stuff. But it seemed like things were going their way when they had Demo God. And I like, what Gnomes brought up about the close quarters combat, how in like King's Row it is kind of compact in many of the corridors there, so I can understand why it went to the advantage of the Patchy Pack. But if you're winning like that, you cannot swap. It's bad luck to just swap when you're already ahead of the game. So
the one thing we thought about that, we thought Time for Us was coming in as a pocket Widow pick specifically, and Widowmaker got the job done on first point. We thought that's what was going on, but the rest of the map with the additional swaps showed a lot of flexibility, but not the same one-for-one power. And
yeah,
so,
but even then, I don't think it was necessarily just the Widow that did it. I mean, the team was, diving onto the players, on the high ground that were, out of position.
No, there was a lot going on.
I think I really got to do credit to the tanks in that first capture. I mean, there was, a pick or two from the Widow, but if that's it, you saw Time for Us had to swap off, and after there, they were struggling to make that progression to the second point, and then of course they didn't even get the third point. So, changing up the game is it's a tough thing to do when you're already in the lead.
I kind of got to disagree with you. I do think Time for Us's Widow was absolutely key to that first point take, because what the Widow was doing by creating all that negative space for the Patchy Pack, if you look and you see what they were doing, they were having to rotate back all the way through the hotel and then try to fight from behind the shadow of that statue. That's not a viable place to play. They had nobody who could really pressure that Widow, so they didn't have any way that they could deploy in the place that they wanted to deploy, and as a result, their defense never really got started. The Widow got a pick or two, but it's really the denial of space, I think, that was absolutely key on Time for Us.
It just failed to convert into an advantage during the second and third phases.
Yeah. Well, great analysis there, and good luck to whoever won that, and congratulations whoever got that code there for the $20 Blizz code. But we are going to be bringing this back to our casters, as we are going to be seeing what the 2CP map pick is going to be coming out from Wild Rose Saints, as they have the pick. So back to you guys, back to you, Mushu.
Thanks, Pimp. Yeah, like we said, we're now in a best of 3 situation, as both teams have one map. Labosco, some crazy games, and we do see the swap back, as the analysts, I believe, have noted. Should be getting Demo God back.
Yeah, he was back and then he went away, but he should be back. So we expect him to be playing in this next map, which of course will be Temple of Anubis. So we get to see Temple of Anubis twice today. And I think that this is a map too that really can go into the favor of Wild Rose Saints and what they want to do. And especially what we saw from them before.
Yeah, I totally agree. And while, I actually agree with, I think, was it TBG that said that it wasn't so much about the swap, having that Widow there in the beginning of that first push was a big part of them being able to take that as quickly as they did. We also don't know if Demogod would have done the same thing, but again, if we're going to review the map score so far, it's going to be Wild Rose Saints. They took it 2-1 in a very close match on Lijiang Tower, and then they dropped Kings Row versus the Patchy Pack 3-2. And again, we talked about how they could have used their ultimates in a more efficient way in that last point to take point 3. They were so close, and as we saw, it did come back to bite them. They could have been in a situation where they were able to fight back and be able to respond to that 3-point capture from the Patchy Pack, but because they didn't even get point 3, they could not. So again, that's how we're here on Anubis for the 1-1 situation.
And the one thing to point out too, Mushu, is that it was still close. It was still a close map for Kings Row. So the switch maybe makes the difference in a win or a loss, but it wasn't a massive difference. I mean, this is still a player who at first for us, we thought Time for Us was going to be starting out playing, and then we found out it was going to be a little bit of a different lineup just a little bit prior to that first map. So going into here, I think neither team should feel like they are at a major disadvantage. There's nothing to say that. And as far as comps, I mean, when you talk about Temple of Anubis, one of the things to look out for is Junkrat on defense. We might see that, and it looks like actually we might.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about how important it is to burn down the shields here, and no matter what division you're in, because it just means that that's all this damage that's not finding its way onto heroes here, and also ultimate charge that you're not getting. So Demogod here on the Junkrat looking to make an impact again and make his record 2-0 as he was missing on the last matchup.
And coming out here, picking to attack first was the Patchy Pack, going to the right side. Meebe gets pulled into a trap, breaks it, and now his team will continue along towards that right side, jumping in high to put on some damage as both teams meeting here in front of that archway that leads to the point, and kind of in that room where the small health pack is.
You saw Killshot trying to get onto the upper ground, but getting a lot of damage, so has to retreat to that health pack, and that means that no damage is going to be able to come through from Killshot. And you can see here the kill starting to fall on the side of Wild Rose Saints, holding onto this first defense. Again, Wild Rose Saints on this blue side here after the break.
We were in that interesting situation again, too, where the team that could pick defense first decided to pick attack first. And right now, for the Patchy Pack, it has been a bit tough sledding here early on, as of course they are in the red as they continue to try and push forward. Here, Keith, though, getting a kill on a kill shot, and the Widowmaker not giving them a whole lot. And Yoji following up and getting Meebe there afterwards. Yoji with another kill. And the Patchy Pack keeping the kills coming, or sorry, the Wild Rose Saints keeping the kills coming in.
Yeah, Wild Rose Saints there. We saw the jump pack kill from Keith onto the Widowmaker, and now Killshot will be switching off of that Widowmaker there. It was very, very ineffective there, and so we do like to see this swap from the Patchy Pack. See if they can make a difference here. Killshot was doing quite well on the Tracer before. See if he can do well again.
Is in the room, Keith getting a kill there. Dyslexic with the bomb, gets Squid out of the way. Valkyrie all used. No reses have been used yet, but there's plenty of opportunity for it for Jolly if he can get to any of the players. But I think he's going to maybe just try backing out here as Sero uses a res of his own. And the Patchy Pack, unsuccessful push once again.
Yeah, Patchy Pack didn't do too well on that, but again, Killshot actually getting 2 kills very quickly, so they're looking to re-engage as soon as possible. Keith here on the front line, if they can take him down, that would be very big for ensuring that they can have a worry-free push in. But again, all of these tanks able to take up all the damage here. Self-destruct will be a zoning ultimate to allow time for the reinforcements to come in for the defense.
And finally getting the chance to push onto the point here, too, for the Patchy Pack, as they do have some numbers on the point. The res coming on to Squid, as Meebe will get a kill with the Primal Rage, trying to keep the disruption going as the kills start to come back in again for the Patchy Pack. But you still have Keith in the fight here, Winston on Winston. And who will win this one? And just having to jump out is Meebe, but he decides to stay in and ends up getting killed. Little bit of percentage gain here. They do get 1 tick for the Wild Rose Saints.
Yeah, one tick. At this rate, though, they will not be able to capture the point. Only 1 minute left to go, and they have to be able to capture this first point if they want a chance to be able to really realistically win this matchup here. And they're going to be fighting into 2 DPS ultimates, a Pulse Bomb and the Riptire, so they have to be very careful. Try to bait them out maybe before. No, but Dyslexic will be taking out Left Circle, who does get res, though. Again, that res happening before the main fight starts is going to be really big here. Patchy Pack not looking too good here as they're starting to get killed again. 30 seconds left to go.
It's going to be very tough here for their last opportunity. They do have a lot of ultimates at their disposal, but you do still have the defensive ult from Toriel that can be used in Demo God with the Riptire. We've already seen some really great Riptires from that Wild Rose Saints Junkrat.
We do hear the Demo God bringing out that Riptire. Was he able to find? He's able to find 2 kill shot. Left Circle. Demo God will go down as well, but gets brought back as Left Circle. Jolly's going to be bringing out that Valkyrie, so gets a double res, and the Transcendence will bring them onto this point.
Yep, onto the point. Diva Bomb into the air. Doesn't find anything. Yoji back in. Demo God does get 2 here. As they look to try and clean up, they get Jolly, who's going in to maybe get a res off, but couldn't do so, and now it's just getting the Seeker out of Mac and taking him out, and there it goes. A full hold to start off for the side of the defending team in Wild Rose Saints. Very good start from them.
0-0.
Or 33%, right?
Man, so pretty crazy there. I mean, basically a full hold. I mean, not that much better than just what you would have if you had 0% there, right? They have 39.4% versus 33 what would have been. So, again, we saw the swap on the side of Patchy Pack. Kill shot went from the Widowmaker to the Tracer. Really good swap, and saw him do really well with the Tracer. But unfortunately, at the end there, you have to make your Pulse Bomb presence felt early, especially on attack. You need to make sure that you're able to get value out of that in the beginning, finding a Pulse Bomb onto a high value target like a Tracer, like the Mercy, because it prevents the res. And you saw basically what happened is that while Dyslexic was getting the damage down eventually, the res came out from the side of Wild Rose Saints and just nullified all of that, the damage from the Pulse Bomb later on.
And when you can nullify that damage, you keep your team up, and you make it really easy to snowball afterwards, because then you're giving yourself the advantage after they've wasted that all. So you have to give a lot of credit to the Wild Rose Saints. That this is the map they picked. This is the map they wanted, and they're showing why. And now they just need to get, like you said, 39.4%. It's basically 33%. It's a half a second longer to get to 39% with a couple players on the point.
That's right. So basically a full hold for all intents and purposes.
Right.
We see kill shot moving on to the getting back onto the Widowmaker. Here will almost surely be taking the high ground behind the point here, as we are just about to get in the game for you guys to be able to see that it's all going to be about kill shot. Can he find the kill shots from this position here, or will the dive from the Wild Rose Saints be able to overwhelm him?
So he's positioned up there, is Killshot looking for those early opportunities, starts to put the shots in, hasn't found anything yet, but delivering some damage onto the players as they come forward. Some spam damage on towards him. The right click does get a little bit of damage, but being kept up by Jolly to stay in this fight, and his team able to do a trade 1-for-1, and then Keith gets taken out by Killshot there. So far, so good on the side of Patchy Pat.
Yeah, I mean, really good first defensive hold there, and it looked like Wild Rose Saints just testing out the waters a little bit there to poke around, but now they've given so much ultimate charge to Patchy Pack. None of them have their ultimates yet, but they're very far ahead and way in front of where Wild Rose Saints will be. So they're going to need to find a really good pick here. They'll need to find a way to deal with this this Widowmaker in the backline.
And the Demo God gets taken out by a headshot by Killshot early. 6-on-5 advantage, thanks to the Widowmaker, of course, going into that room. Couldn't get all of the team in there, but still the fact they were able to stay at least away from most of the Widowmaker damage, as coming in to try and force them out was Meebe, as he goes in, and now the rest of the team working towards the point, as they're Dyslexic with the Pulse Bomb onto Killshot to take him out. Killshot quickly rezzed right back, and it's close to getting almost that first tick. Diva Bomb out on the point. Demo God with 1 kill onto Killshot again, so out of the picture is the Widowmaker. Sarah with the follow-up on a Left Circle, but Toriel, the The Mercy taken out for the side of the Wild Rose Saints, and the kills coming out, though, for the Patchy Pack.
So many resources used to keep Killshot in the fight, but again, Patchy Pack on this defense, playing it calm, cool, collected. They kept the prize, their eye on the prize. They knew that it was about preventing the Wild Rose Saints from getting any capture percentage, and they were able to do so. All the resources from the side of Wild Rose Saints was used to take out that Widowmaker, but again, it didn't earn them anything on the point itself. So far so good. The Patchy Pack, if they can do what they've always been doing, they can possibly win this here.
And they get Killshot back in a position to deliver damage, gets a shot in, and then Demogod gets taken out. Toriel has the res right away. Disadvantage there as far as the res goes. Trades on either side, but you have it in favor right now of the Wild Rose Saints as they're cleaning up on the point. That Primal Rage really disrupting things. Squid couldn't get anything with the Dragon Blade. It's just the Seeker now trying to stay on this point and stall out, but Dyslexic will get him out of the mech and have to use it. It's a triple kill by the Seeker. They couldn't get out of the way of the Diva Bomb, and that'll get the fight back in favor of Patchy back. But Demogod using the barrage to try and keep Wild Rose Saints in it.
They still had 1 minute left to go. They decided to throw the Rocket Barrage in, but Killshot is back. He's already has this front line here in front of him to make the space there, as now they're pulled off the point. Wild Rose Saints need to find a new way to get into this point here. They're starting to flood on, but they're starting to lose the numbers. Killshot has just all the space in the world to be able to land the shots, but no one here is contesting on the point. They need to have that Mercy go in, who goes down for it. Maybe it's just going to be trouncing around there with the bubble here, as it looks like maybe Patchy Pack will be able to stabilize. No, but they're going to be losing numbers on the point.
Keith getting some kills in with that spawn advantage. They've been able to get those kills and now have more players on the point. Couple kills there, just left circle left on the point, gets forced off, and it's just about to go, and there it is. The map going to the Wild Rose Saints, finally able to force their way on, and they take that map.
Wild Rose Saints will take Anubis, and this is a little bit of a consolation prize. The Seeker getting that triple kill from the self-destruct, just placing it nice and neat under that middle portion here. And it looks like nobody could find the cover they needed. Is in that chaos, maybe they felt like at that point they could win there, but again, we saw that Rocket Barrage come out from the side of Wild Rose Saints it's in a very tense moment because you didn't quite know where it was going to go in the favor of. There was only maybe 2 players for Wild Rose Saints who are still alive at that time, and that Rocket Barrage was enough to be able to maintain the capture percentage on the point and allow time for the attacker's advantage for the spawn for them to get back on.
So 2-1 in favor of the Wild Rose Saints after map number 3, map number 4, and championship point for the Wild Rose Saints here now. Mushu, I mean, just when the Seeker got that triple kill, that's when you felt like, oh man, the Patchy Pack can come back. That was their opportunity, but the spawn advantage just is such a big thing there on point number 1 for Temple of Anubis, and that's why it's so important to try and get that first capture point, because even if things go in your favor like that did, your team can't get back in time to follow up.
Yeah, and I think, again, it was so crazy that, wonder what was those comms Saints as far as using that ultimate, right? Was it in a moment where someone else was saying, look, I'm going to get to the point in 5 seconds. I'll be right there. Use your ultimates, like stall, do whatever you need to do to make your life as effective as possible, because that's what it is at that point. Trying to get the trades that are favorable to your team. And I didn't quite note how many kills that came out of that Rocket Barrage, but it definitely absorbed all of the attention there. But what we saw work so well was they pretty much addressed the Widowmaker pick from the side of the Patchy Pack by just going into that upper ground on the right side where Widowmaker had no line of sight, and winning the fight there before moving on to the point. And it was a slow process, and it was a very long process of the contest there. But again, like you said, attackers spawned advantage from point 1 in Anubis. They played that to their advantage, and they were able to take the map.
A very important map to take, and now you do have this next map pick, of course, going to the Patchy Pack. A little bit of trying to get some clarification of what map they can pick, so we don't have that for you yet, but it looks like it might be Route 66 where we end up going. And when you talk about payload pushing maps, Route 66 is one that changes. It's definitely a very open map and will change things, especially compared to Temple of Anubis, which is, yeah, sure, there's the verticality to the map, but it's more of a narrow map in a sense.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen have so much success here is the ability to work front to back. These tank lines, coming crashing at each other there. But again, Demo God, as we saw in the Junkrat, taking away the power from a tank on the opposite side has been their strength here. So we'll see how Patchyback decides to fight against that in absorbing all the damage. And what we may see as well, I mean, we saw Patchyback bring out the Widowmaker. We might see that again here on both attack or defense for the side of Patchyback.
Yeah, and this is a really good map for her too, especially early on, and you can switch off of her fairly quick if you decide. It did work though. It did work for a little bit. Killshot had some really good kills, and it was once there was that focus effort to avoid Killshot that's when Wild Rose Saints finally were able to get in, and then of course they get the kill on a Killshot, and then having to use that res on the Widowmaker can make things very difficult. That's what ended up happening.
For sure. Because we are about to get into the map relatively soon, but until then, and I guess we can just review the map score yet again. Going to be, again, our first map was Lijiang Tower. Wild Rose Saints took that in the 2-1. Patchypack then came back to fight back 3-2 on King's Row. And what we just saw now was Wild Rose Saints able to clutch it out on Anubis there. So Wild Rose Saints now up 2-1, have match point on this series in this best of 5 for the Division 1 finals for Season 3 Overwatch University League. Labosco, I guess for the Patchypack, what adjustments do you think they need to make to fight against this team?
Well, it was still close there at the end. It's just a couple of small things that really seem to be some of the differences here for the Patchypack. I mean, I think the biggest thing that surprised me was the fact that they decided to attack first. And especially on Temple of Anubis, that's one of those maps where usually it favors the defensive team. You had that opportunity to pick it, decided to go with attack. We've seen for both teams that's sort of been the case where they decide to go and attack. It hasn't worked out too well. So we'll see what they decide to do here, but I think that this is a map pick that can help them. It gives them some more options. There's a lot more you can do on Route 66. Of course, you can see the Sombra here as well. That's another pick that we haven't even talked about that could potentially be here.
Yeah, definitely on point 1, Sombra very strong. And if your team is able to play around those health packs, you can charge up the EMP even before anyone is at even like 50% on their ultimate charge. So it can come out really strong and really stymie any offensive push that the offense is bringing here. So definitely one of the big questions, though, is what do you sacrifice for the Sombra? Again, most teams will take away one support in favor for the Sombra, as it is, you're basically playing around a health pack and playing around healing. But then in addition, which health pack are you hacking? Is it the Mega that's under the garage, or is it, I believe it's a mini in the tunnel that is between the that rounds the corner, connects the corner on the ground level, or that is a Mega as well. So yeah, it's up to Wild Rose Saints, who's going to be on the defensive first, so blue side, to if they bring out that Sombra pick, to pick very carefully which health pack to hack.
And it looks like that's going to be their first pick too. Toriel is on it right now, and you will still have the Mercy for Sero, who's been a really good Mercy. So you do see the Sombra pick, and now you have to wonder, how will this counter with Squid and Killshot on McCree and Genji? Do you have the Seeker back on the Roadhog? Definitely a tank that he seems to be more comfortable on. As the doors open here, as we start off with this Route 66 payload push, and Keith with a quick kill on Najali, as that is going to put a disadvantage early on for the Patchypack. The Mercy gone, as playing a very aggressive defense here is Wild Rose Saints, and they're getting the kills to show for it.
Yep, it was definitely not expected there. Somehow, Keith sneaking by everyone and taking out the Mercy first. Again, if you want to get an early pick, definitely want to get into the Mercy. As here you can see Dyslastic already going into the back line, almost, Jolly just cruising on just a little bit of health under that one bar. So this, they're going to have to peel for Jolly. Just have to do a better job of this, as they're not even able to push until just now, wasting a full 50 seconds before they're even to get payload, this payload moving.
The one thing about that aggressive push, Mushu, that they had defensively is that it does allow you for a second opportunity to defend, but you're maybe going to be at a disadvantageous position because you probably can't get on top of the gas station in time, and you can see here that the Apache Pack is able to get up there, but in comes the EMP from Toriel. Maybe got one, and the kills coming in on the side for the Apache Pack as they try to clean up the rest of the Wild Rose Saints and push this through that first point. Killshot missing with the flashbang, but his team has done enough work, and just stalling out here for a second was Dyslexic before getting jumped on by a giant monkey and getting shot by Killshot.
Yeah, Apache Pack did a good job of pushing up aggressively there because Wild Rose Saints was sitting back with that EMP ready to go, but didn't know exactly where the best spot was to drop that, as we do see Demogod bringing out the Riptire, taking out Meebe. It looks like this defense might be able to stabilize here if they're able to take out Squid or Meebe on this front line.
Squid coming in though with the Dragon Blade, gets one, continuing in, dashes towards another and gets Sero, and Meebo with the Primal Rage will allow for the first point to get captured. Maybe didn't need the Primal Rage, but you do get that Zenyatta in a corner, and that's a big stagger of a support player. As we take a look at this Genji Blade once again.
Yeah, the Genji Blade came out in a time where it just solidified the fact that, yeah, they wanted to win this point. And again, if you want to use your ultimates to just ensure the tide that you've already been, that it's already going, that's the best time to, that's the time to use an ultimate and have the highest confidence versus trying to turn a situation here. So Squid bringing it out, and they're able to secure first point.
Killshot used the Deadeye, but didn't get anything, was quickly taken out by Yoji. Has to get rezzed right away by the Valkyrie ult from Jolly. The Diva Bomb thrown in the middle, but Demogod gets two with the Riptire, trying to keep things even on the side of the Wild Rose Saints as they've stopped this payload here for a moment, but quickly getting hooked in and taken out by the Seeker was Yoji to allow the payload to continue to move.
Left circle popped the Transcendence, pretty much only protecting himself, but the rest of the team was able to find cover, as there's a lot of cover on this right side near the Mega Health Pack, and so it definitely didn't look like it was worth, but then you saw the rest of the team emerge. Apache Pack was just hiding for a moment to escape the Diva Bomb, and we'll see if they can cruise in here. They can keep them on this upper ground on this right side. They might be able to secure this second point, as Demogod is already falling back here. Meebe falls down, though.
A little bit late coming in was Toriel with the Zenyatta. All the Transcendence doesn't get to Demogod before he falls, but Sero will use the res and get Toriel back up. Keeps the Zenyatta in the fight here as Wild Rose Saints at least pushing back for the moment the Apache Pack, and now trying to clean up here. Meebe trying to escape, jumps up high into the air. Keith chasing after him and almost chased him too far. That hook 2.0 saving him.
Yeah, Meebe didn't get out there. That would have been a much bigger stagger, and they still have some time to work with, 2 minutes, but again, on the attack, you don't want to waste any more time than you need to, and a critical moment happened in that last fight. Squid used the Dragon Blade and went down immediately, got no value out of that. So Apache Pack definitely could have played that a little bit better, but Squid, unfortunately, in the back line, was facing some really great focus fire from the side of the Wild Rose Saints.
Apache Pack coming out on the right side. Killshot gets taken out right away. Jolly gonna use res on him, but Dyslexic and Toriel getting some kills behind, and Demogod continuing to do work on that Junkrat. They haven't even had to use an ult here as they continue to build them up. Apache Pack getting forced back as they now have 3 ults, but 4 ults on the side of the Apache Pack, so they do have some ults to work with here, and no defensive ults yet on the side of the Wild Rose Saints.
Yeah, Apache Pack have had such trouble getting to the point, though. I mean, you see how scrappy these fights are. Wild Rose Saints doing such a good job playing up aggressively. This defense isn't really looking like defense. It's basically like just an offense on the opposite side. As now, Apache Pack, though, they're mixing it up a little bit, approaching from the back end of this, so we'll see if this just works out.
Demogod does get Squid with the Riptire, but Squid quickly res by Jolly, who uses the Valkyrie ult to get Meebe back up as well. Deadeye out, doesn't get anything for it. The Transcendence coming out from the side of Toriel, as he keeps up a couple of his players, and the Wild Rose Saints staying up in this one, just using the Primal Rage here to stall things out, but nobody there with him for Meebe, and he's going to have to escape with that Primal Rage, and he can't get out, though. He gets staggered here pretty hard. 30 seconds left to try and get back onto the point for the Patchy Pack, and things are looking grim.
One ultimate to work with here. Patchy Pack will have Squid with the Dragon Blade here. Again, he muffed the first attempt because he went to the back line and got focused down. But on the other side, Yoji has that self-destruct. We've seen Yoji do a lot of work with this self-destruct before. Diva Bombs making such a big impact here. But Demogod finds a kill onto the kill shot. And so this is going to be big here. Would you see the self-destruct going out, and it will take out Squid, so no ultimates ready to go for the side of Patchy Pack, and they're going to be working here at such a disadvantage.
Continuing to work and try and keep forward with them. The Dragon Blade lost by Squid could be the thing that gives this one to the Wild Rose Saints as they clean up here, using the ult with Zero to keep the team healthy, and they clear the point, taking out the soldier in Squid is Keith, and that'll do it for the push of the Patchy Pack. They get halfway through on the second point, just a little bit underneath that overpass on point number 2.
Switching sides.
A
Go ahead and check out.
huge play here. But
yeah, but I
Mushu,
mean, if we're looking back to, no, just saying that we saw the 2 ultimates, or 1 ultimate from each side that were going into that fight, and 1 ultimate, the self-destruct for the side of Yoji on the Wild Rose Saints, taking out the Genji. Squid, the only person who had an ultimate. They needed him to come in big here, and he was definitely poised and trying to flank around, but unfortunately was not able to find the cover, and that was huge there. Unfortunately, Patchy Pack and Squid not rising to the occasion there on point 2.
And Mushu, I don't think he realized that the ult was out. He was on the stairs. He had jumped in with his Dragon Blade onto the back line, was in a pretty good position to take them out, but then they both escaped up the stairs, and he was chasing after them, and the Diva Bomb was just in the perfect area in the air where he just had that angle to get hit by it, and that did it. If that Diva Bomb is a fraction off, and he's still in cover because of the stairs, we're talking about maybe the Patchy Pack still pushing this right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the difference, right? And especially at this high level of play, got to be watching out for everything that could be happening. And tracking ultimates is something that is very difficult to do, but when your team is able to track ultimates, then you'd be able to anticipate things like that. Of course, we have full vision into it because we're in the spectator mode, and so we can see what ultimates are going into it. But at this level of play, you pretty much need to be able to understand what could the other team be bringing.
You definitely have to, and unfortunate for the Patchy Pack, but they can still hold here. If they can get a first point hold, they can force this into a 5th game, but we'll see, as you see that they're going with the Pharmacy Comm on the side of the Wild Rose Saints, and they want to carry this to a championship in the Division 1. Demogod delivering the damage out here early on, as we saw some good play from him in the last map, and as he was subbed in to give his team an edge on Temple of Anubis, and it worked out. Still dealing that span damage and staying away from it for the most part, but Killshot gets caught by a Toriel attack, and then Demogod falling up onto Meebe.
Yeah, this attack looking so far so good here. They're able to work again on the flanks here. Killshot not able to get enough damage there, and even goes down to Dyslexic, his counterpart there. So we'll see. It looks like it's going to be a pretty worry-free push around for this first attack, as now the stagger goes on to Seeker.
And Demogod just moving forward as he's trying to at least force the Patchy Pack to take as much time as they can before they can get to that first point. They're going to try, of course, and get there before they get on and through into that first point. It looks like they do just get there in time, but taken out by Demogod was Jolly, so the Mercy down right away, as this will throw the fight definitely in favor here early on for the Wild Rose Saints. Yoji with another kill with the Diva Bomb, and his team just cleaning up here, and they're going to finish this push, and a Rocket Barrage is up now here for Demogod as they get in and through onto the final stretch.
The Patchy Pack looking a little bit frazzled here. They're throwing in all their ultimates and all their abilities to try to hold on to this, but not coordinating as much as they would like, as Wild Rose Saints just cruise into this first point here, and they're setting a pace. They have 4 minutes to work with to not even have to finish this point 2.
Yep, a lot of time. Alt on either side. Demo God with the Rocket Barrage and Squid with the Dragon Blade. Need to have some really good value out of the Dragon Blade. Left circle gets taken out by Demo God, so the Zenyatta gun. Dragon Blade comes out, does find Demo God, but he gets rezzed back right away. Coming back in, uses the barrage, does get just a little bit of the Mercy to take him out, giving the advantage back to the Wild Rose Saints. Transcendence coming out here on the side of the Saints as they push around, as they're getting towards that underpass. They still got to win one more fight, but they're pushing up here right away to try and stop at the choke the Patchy Pack.
Dyslexic has that pulse bomb. Look for a big stick here. Goes in very deep and tries to put it down, but is not able to find the Mercy. But that is going to be still good enough here. They're still continuing the push. Maybe goes down on the front line here. They have to use that res already. And Demogod drawing out the Mercy. This means that he's going to be able to get 2 kills. Both the DPS down, and the kills continue to fall here for the Wild Rose Saints.
Almost to that golden box, looking for a championship or the Wild. Continuing to put damage out is Demo God, and he finds the Seeker, and that should do it. Your champions for Division 1, the Wild Rose Saints, as they win 2-1 here on Route 66. What a finish here, Mushu.
Absolutely, and Demo God finding the rockets, finding the kills, knowing exactly this is going to be the end here on this last push here. You saw the early kill there, and that's going to draw out the Mercy. He knows this, so he just goes in there and gets the direct shots in the air. He was even in the Valkyrie, so only was able to use one of the reses as well. I mean, such good anticipation there, and you'd think that from if you're a Winston on the defense there, if you're a Keith, it's safe to you just jump out there, but so much damage finds its way onto the tank there. And then the Mercy also runs right in. You think you're safe with the Valkyrie? Not if a Pharah is right above you, shooting rockets down at your face.
And the Valkyrie ult does give you that bit of a speed, but it wasn't enough. And of course, you have to give all the credit to Demo God, because he's the one, not just once on that final push of theirs did he find the Mercy, but twice, 3 times before when they were getting to the end of the first point, he got the Mercy kill early on to give them the advantage there. Then once they got through, again, he gets it. And then all important when the Valkyrie ult comes out for the 3rd and final time, Demo God, I think has to be your player of the game too. And he was in. It was a different look from the team completely.
Demo God undefeated, 3-0 on the day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, good stuff. Well, Lewasco, I don't know if you have any final words before we toss it back to the analyst in Pimp.
Really quickly, I just want to say congrats to the Wild Rose Saints, but of course the Patchy Pack. I mean, it still wasn't easy for the Saints. This still went to 4 games. It was a really close one. I think the advantage kind of grew as the series went on, but really, other than this last map, it was still close. Even Temple of Anubis was fairly close. So, for the Patchy Pack, just more experience for them as they move on for their college series.
For sure. Yeah. Again, congratulations to Wild Rose Saints for taking that 3-1. And this has been Mushu Beef and Labosco. I think we're throwing it back now to analysts to break it down.
Thank you, Mushu and Labosco, and congratulations to Wild Rose Saints. And I got to say it, I did predict that they were going to win. So I'm a little ahead with my prediction there. I love that they were kind of like the underdog, and everyone was doubting the whole situation just because their Tespa team is great on the side of the Patchy Pack. But what a great series! It was great to see that from high level play. Throughout most of the series, it was pretty even back and forth. But then you see Wild Rose Saints come in, and they just did complete excellent on attack. They hit all the right shots, but TBG, what do you think, caused this team to win?
Well, first off, it was the fact that the analysts clearly don't know what they're doing. And given that
I got 1 out of 2, man.
And given that neither Mookie nor I were right and you were dead on, I believe that Mukai Kubo should have to shave his head.
Yes, I agree. Hey, in my defense, I did predict it would be 3-1.
Fair. You were closer to it than I was. If we were doing traditional sports betting where you would bet on the spread, you'd be dead on. Moving on from that, over and over again, what Mukai and I think we saw coming out of that was any time that it looked like both teams had a plan, and they went in with kind of a set play, a playbook in mind, those almost always went the way of Wild Rose Saints. They had a greater ability to execute plays, particularly when it comes to dive comp. We saw the Patchy Pack struggle over and over with the dive comp, trying to make it work, and I think every single time that they had real good success, it came out of branching away from that. It came out of adding new elements, explosive elements to that. When they went for the straight up dive comp, they just weren't getting the value that they needed. And a lot of the time, Meeb on Patchy Pack was vulnerable to attack. He was isolated from supports and from additional damage dealers. He wasn't able to output the kind of damage he needed in order to get the value kills you have to on a dive comp. He just got killed over and over. So that definitely hurt them in that regard. In battles where it was less of our set play versus your set play, it was just, it's a battlefield, everyone go for it. As long as the Patchy Pack had their Mercy alive, they came out on top of those more often. And obviously, if they killed Wild Rose Saints Mercy, then the advantage in their favor. But when it was just a messy brawl sprawled across the map, then we saw Patchy Pack's success rate go up. So they're almost more, their deathmatch arena style fighting could carry the day in those situations. Mukai, why don't you talk a little bit about the map choice? Because we were discussing that as well.
Well, like you were saying, I think that it's that Patchy Pack has practiced with each other so much, they know instinctively what everyone else is going to do. And so when it becomes a chaotic fight, they're comfortable with that. But because they seem to like the tight spaces more, they had success in King's Row, where it starts out wide open and then it narrows the closer you get to the final point. So they could say, okay, we just have to push through the first point, get through streets, we're good. Based on that, I think they were trying to replicate the same thing with Route 66 there. I'm not sure I quite liked that pick, though, from watching them. It looked like they kept on struggling the more aerial the fight was. And you could see that on the final push when Wild Rose Saints brought a pharmacy, and at first, Patchy Pack didn't have any hit scans. They were just completely at the mercy of that pharmacy. And Killshot did switch to Soldier, but it was really too late to affect anything.
Yeah, I think that, they saw Demogod playing that Junkrat, pretty effectively. So they thought, okay, Demogod's just going to go right back to Junkrat. But did they forget what happened map 1 when Demogod was on Pharah? Like, I think, that's a great map for Pharah to play on. There's a lot of open space and cover, with all those mountains and then like a few of the buildings, to hide from. So, I mean, Demogod, he was really great player. It was great seeing him come back in, and I think that's, helped them get their win. But, I mean, while we're here, if I'm going to name an MVP, I think I'm going to give it to Yoji. I think being a D.Va player, I have a lot of respect for one of my favorite players is Mickey and Cool Matt. They both play D.Va, and, like, D.Va's really, it's, like, underrated how much D.Va can make a difference for a team. And I got to give really good props to Yoji, who's always getting in there, getting those final killing blows and stuff, or just, protecting his team. And, that he had a few great ults, helped save his team and, got them that victory.
And it's not just the D.Va play. We noted in the first 2 maps, Yoji seemed to be almost constantly at high energy whenever they were playing Zarya. They were doing extremely well, especially on King's Row, with projected barriers. They were sparing their team a whole lot of damage as Zarya. I would agree with that pick. More broadly, though, what I think did in Patchy Pack, they had no plan B. Plan A was dive. Dive never really worked. There was no plan B. Even on that last defense, they tried to do a dive on defense again because they had no backup plan for what to do if their dive tanks were being as hard countered as they were.
Yeah, congratulations to all the teams, and just in case anyone hasn't entered yet, there is a giveaway going on for some stickers. I did a few of those during the series when we were taking some breaks, but there's a final one in there. If you type finals, you get into the sticker giveaway. And congratulations to our winners of the previous 2 giveaways for those $20 Blizzard codes. And, of course, congratulations to all the teams that are played in their finals. We did get a report during these games that Zero Watch East won from Division 5. That's your guys' divisions. And they beat your former division member, Galaxy Peeps, 3-1. So congratulations to Zero Watch East and all the other teams. I think we have one more final left that's being played. It's Division 6. So good luck to those teams. And If you want to get involved into the Overwatch University League, you can come to our Discord, discord.gg/OW University. There you can find teams to play against, scrim, find players that, maybe you need to find a new player or find a new team. You can come there too, or say you need some substitutes for any tournaments or any kind of scrims. You can always come there, and if you're a caster or a coach, you can come here too. We have some resources to get people involved in casting as well as coaching. So it's a great community to join. Open to everyone from all skill levels and backgrounds, so don't ever feel like you're not wanted or you're not welcome or not good enough to join, because we accept everyone. And if you are looking forward to when we're going to be starting up the next season of Overwatch University League, you can we'll be opening signups sometime in January, we're estimating. Definitely in the winter. We're going to take quite a bit of break, go through a bit of the holidays before we get started with the next season. Thank you, Gnomes, and thank you, Mushu, for joining us. And I hope to see you guys back, and all you viewers. I hope you all,
What about me,
back.
Pimp?
Oh yeah, Mukai. I keep mixing all these moves. There's so many moves. It's like you guys should be a herd of cows or something.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask someone on the Discord to go ahead to create a Photoshop fusion of the two to complete the cycle.
Please do it.
Oh God.
And thanks Mushu, thanks Lubasco, thanks Mukai, thanks Gnomes, and thank you all you viewers and fans out there. And hope to see you guys in season 4. Take care.